Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. Obtain the Deidara explosion-style bloodline and six-path sage body at start. Chapter 61. Leia, be careful behind. A faint voice came from behind the black hole. Leia, this is Renmara. Hearing the reminder, Black Hole Leia turned around in time, crossed his swords, and several lightning bolts headed towards the wind blade. Although in this world, the wind restrained the thunder, but at this time, after the wind blade wiped out the thunder and lightning, it was also weakened a lot, and finally he was easily avoided by the Black Hole Thunder Fang. Little devil, you are not easy, report your name and I will hold an unprecedented funeral for you. The Black Hole Thunder Teeth looked at Naruto grimly, and the killing intent in his eyes was about to move. But Naruto didn't pay attention to him at all. A dead person didn't need to talk to him so much. He was thinking quickly about how to kill the opponent. The two short swords of the Black Hole Leia are too powerful, and the blessing to him is probably not weaker than my function body. In addition, although the lightning style of Black Hole Thunder Fang is very strong, his own shortcomings are also very obvious, such as his physical skills. He is like a magic turret, but his mobility is not fast. Once he gets close, he is dangerous unless he can put a lightning armor on himself for defense in time. Moreover, the Black Hole Thunder Tooth relies too much on Renmara's perception ability. I just don't know the ability of Renmara. Can I find that Naruto has a superb level of Kagura Shinyen? After a while, Naruto made up his mind and slapped his hands again, and a hurricane whizzed towards Thunder Fang. Lightning-style Thunder Dragon Roll. With a single blow from the Black Hole Thunder Tooth, a tornado composed of thunder and lightning collided against the hurricane, and a second thunder tornado was also brewing. Obviously, Black Hole Thunderia relies on quantity to defeat Naruto. Boy, although your wind style is very strong, but I have been in the ninja world for so many years, relying on the amount of chakra can kill you. The Black Hole Thunder Teeth condensed the second thunder tactic, while despising Naruto. Leia, be careful of the sky. At this moment, Ranwan's reminder came suddenly. Haihu Leia hid away without even thinking about it, and then he raised his head and looked at the sky. I saw another Naruto flying into the air at some point, and a hurricane fell from the sky and swept toward him. Ha, just a kid who can only play tricks. Black Hole Leia let out a cold snort with an uncomfortable face, and directed the second thunder tornado to face the hurricane in the sky. At this moment, suddenly Maru exclaimed again, be careful of your steps. This time Renmara's voice was very rapid, because it was too late when he sensed the underground sneak attack. I saw two hands carrying two wind blades, drilled out of the ground, and directly chopped off the feet of the Black Hole Thunder Tooth. Ah! Hei-Chu-Lei screamed with toothache, and fell to the ground with a plop. However, his rich combat experience allowed him to insert two short swords on the ground, and lightning along the ground to disperse the hidden Naruto shadow clone. Maru immediately activated his abilities to hide Leia's figure. Seeing this, Hinata in the distance immediately opened Byakugan to find out the other person's figure, but she did not expect that there were more than a dozen chakra figures in her field of vision. Ah, how come there are so many enemies? Hinata exclaimed, incredulously. What she didn't know was that this was Renmara's red eye ability, specifically restraining Byakugan of the Hyuga family. Hinata, don't open Byakugan, the other party has the special ability to imitate meridians and chakra. Naruto shouted to Hinata, and then slashed with both hands, and a huge wind blade hit the original location of the Black Hole Thunder Tooth. Boom! The wind blade hit the ground, only a large hole was blasted, and there was no Black Hole Thunder Fang. Sure enough, Maru can even deceive my perception. Naruto frowned and said to himself. At the same time, in the distance of Naruto, Renmara panted on the back of the Black Hole Thunder Tooth, looking dying. Black Hole Leia held a short sword in each hand, supported his body, and ran forward like walking on stilts. His two broken legs have been pasted with lightning and lightning to stop the blood. Single quote opening square bracket closing square bracket single quote. At this moment, he endured the severe pain, turned his head back in a flustered expression and asked, Ranwan, how are you doing? Although the Black Hole Thunder Tooth is extremely cruel to civilians and enemies, he is extremely concerned about Renmara's dependent companion. Leia, I'm fine, hurry, run. The other party will find us soon. Maru murmured weakly. He spent almost all his energy in order to conceal the figure of the Black Hole Thunder Tooth. Earth-style Earth Dynamic Core. At this moment, Naruto's soft drink suddenly came from a distance. Suddenly, the whole earth shook. The Black Hole was unstable and fell to the ground, throwing Ranwan out of his clothes. But neither of them dared to make any noises, lest Naruto could find out. Now they need to flee in a hurry, and then deal with the injuries on the feet of the Black Hole Thunder Teeth. However, the earthquake caused by Earth-style did not disappear, but became more intense, and the entire gold mine seemed to collapse. The earth was torn apart, and deep cracks appeared. The nearest one was only 1 meter away from the Black Hole Thunder Tooth. Heiho-Leia and Lanwan looked at each other with lingering fears, rejoicing that they had escaped. Earth-style Tulong gun. Naruto's voice came again, and I saw densely packed soil guns piercing from the ground one by one from far and near. Seeing that he was about to stab himself, the Black Hole Thunder Teeth couldn't avoid it. He gritted his teeth, clenched 2 thunder knives in both hands, and sent a large amount of lightning into the ground. Lake Earth, thunder and lightning disperse the Earth-style chakra underground, and the Earth gun will naturally no longer appear. But this also exposed his position. Sure enough, Naruto in the distance saw this, his mouth grinned, and several wind blades slashed at the exposed Black Thunder Teeth. The Black Hole Thunder Tooth pulled out 2 short swords from the ground, and hurriedly swung 2 lightning strikes. But in the wind blade this time, Naruto input a large amount of chakra. Although it was weakened by the elimination of thunder and lightning, it still hit the Black Hole Thunder Tooth quickly. At this time, the Black Hole Thunder Tooth with a broken foot had only time to roll over to avoid the wind blade. Although he avoided the direct attack, he was shaken by the aftermath of the wind blade hitting the ground. Ranwan, who was dying, fainted on the spot. Lanwan. Heiho-Leia screamed sternly, and was about to climb over, picking up Lanwan. Leaf Hurricane. At this time, Xiao Li took the opportunity to deceive him and kicked the head of the Black Hole Thunder Tooth fiercely. Black Hole Thunderya subconsciously raised his arms to block the attack, kicked both hands and wrists, and 2 short swords were kicked out. The Black Hole Thunder Tooth without fangs and claws has completely become a lamb to be slaughtered. The Black Hole Thunder Tooth, stalk human life, the crime deserves to die. Naruto stood condescendingly in front of the Black Hole, looking down at one of the former 7 ninja swords, and continued. Hehe, the above is all bullshit. Because our task is to kill you, no matter what kind of person you are. Ended. Pouch. Naruto took out the blade of the Thunder Spirit behind him and chopped off the head of the Black Hole Thundertooth, so that the opponent could not die again. Naruto found that he liked to kill enemies more and more by cutting his throat or beheading. Because in this world, besides Rinnegan, there are too many nonsense ninjutsu that can bring the dead back to life. He doesn't believe it. People who have their heads beheaded can easily come back to life. Naruto, what will this kid do? Xiao Li couldn't bear to look directly at the miserable Black Hole Thunder Teeth, and asked Naruto up his head. He is the enemy, what do you think? Naruto looked at Xiao Li angrily. Although Lan Maru's ability is very powerful, but from the original point of view, the other party is loyal to the Black Hole Thunder Teeth. Even if they die, they will die together. Then fulfill them. Pouch. Lan Wan's body is separated. Xiao Li wanted to say something, but was pulled by Tenten on the side, and whispered, Li, don't forget that we are ninjas. Hearing this, Naruto turned his head and glanced at this one of the 12 strongest and weakest in the original work, and gave her a thumbs up. After all, in the world of ninjas, how can there be so much shit and kindness? Ding dong. Congratulations to host for killing one of Jonin and earning 100 points. Naruto stepped forward and picked up the 2 thunder swords, and carefully looked at one of the 7 legendary shinobi swords. The big decapitation knife that he didn't cut was returned to the system by him in exchange for 100 points, but at this time, he was not willing to accept these 2 knives. These 2 knives contain a large amount of chakra-conductive metal, as well as special substances that can attract and conduct lightning. They are much better than the Thunder God sword that Naruto once got. Black Hole Thunderya relies on them, and its strength is multiplied. If you fuse the Thor's sword with these 2 thunder knives, what artifact will you get? Naruto thought about this, and decided to try it somewhere where no one else was. When the Black Hole Thunder Tooth, the leader of the Black Hole family, died, the rest was nothing but these horrendous murderers. Moreover, they actually wanted to take the opportunity to assassinate the four Naruto. The grandson of the old lady in the curry house that Xiaoli wants to save, that is, the guy named Shinzi, is the organizer. Shinzi stood with a group of coerced villagers, lined up to welcome the four heroes Naruto. However, when the four Naruto came to them, a dozen huge rocks suddenly rolled down from the side of the hillside, and the rumbling smashed the four Naruto to death on the spot. Haha, although Lord Leia is dead, this gold mine still belongs to our Black Ho family. Shinzi looked at the four Naruto who had no corpses and laughed wildly. But the next second, his laughter stopped abruptly. Yes, a frivolous voice came from behind him. He looked down and placed a thunder knife on his neck. He knew this thunder knife, and it was exactly what his Black Ho master Leia had used. You, sir, forgive me. I was also forced, Shinzi said in fear. Where is the arrogance just now? Go to hell and talk to the ghost. Naruto swiped the thunder knife lightly, and Shinzi's head was cut off. Naruto stepped back in time, avoiding the spray of blood. The surrounding villagers looked shocked and backed away from Naruto. Many people vomited because they couldn't bear the bloody scene. At this time, Xiaoli, Hinata and Tenten also dealt with the remnants of the Black Ho family who attacked them and rushed over. Shinzi, Naruto. Xiaoli looked at Shinzi's body in disbelief, with a touch of grief in his eyes. He couldn't help but think again of how Shinzi used curry to save himself. I promised the Sanjiao mother-in-law in the curry house to take Shinzi back. Xiaoli yelled to Naruto. Then the innocent villagers he killed, how will you explain? Naruto asked disdainfully. Seeing this, the surrounding villagers also started talking, accusing some of their family members and friends of being beaten by Shinzi and even buried alive. Seeing this, Xiaoli's expression was stagnant, and he lowered his head and stopped talking. After all, he was only a 13-year-old boy, and his simple thoughts were a strain. The first time he encountered this situation, his heart must be extremely contradictory. Tenten next to him wanted to comfort Xiaoli, but he didn't know what to say. Hinata stood next to Naruto in silence, pulled Naruto's clothes, still in that weak appearance, did not speak. Naruto doesn't care how much he is, in this real world of shinobi, kindness will not live long. Soon, as the captain, Naruto returned to Konoha village with 3 people. Along the way, Xiaoli still didn't speak, just practiced hard with his head buried in his head, and he didn't even have the face to pass the curry house, and walked directly around the long road. Naruto was not like him. Instead, he passed the curry house generously, had a curry meal by the way, and took care of her mother-in-law's business. Mother-in-law Shanjiao saw that her grandson had not come, nor did Xiaoli. Her expression was sad, and she didn't ask anything. She lived to be such an old age, what else did she not understand? But when they left, Hinata and Tenten left all the money they had with Granny Sanjiao. Naruto asked Shadow Clone to take Hinata and the others back to Konoha village, while the body quietly relied on Flying Thunder God technique to come to a no-man's land. He wants to synthesize Thunder Knife and Thor's sword. System, can I combine these 2 Thunder Blades and Thor's sword into one artifact? Naruto asked in his heart. Ding dong, you only need these 2 ninjas to reach level 3, and then exchange for a ninja synthesis scroll to synthesize a level 4 artifact. Ding dong, currently, the 2 Thunder Blades are level 3 ninjas, and Thor's sword is level 2 ninjas. Do you use one ninja upgrade scroll to increase the level of Thor's sword? Yes, redeem it. Then spend another 200 points to exchange for a ninja synthesis scroll to directly synthesize the artifact. As soon as the voice fell, the thunder knife and Thor's sword in Naruto's hand disappeared. After a while, ding dong, the 2 ninjas have been combined into a divine weapon Tian Lei sword. This time a total of 300 points were consumed. A cool long sword appeared in Naruto's hands. Sky Thunder Sword can increase the power of lightning style tenfold, can provoke the Sky Thunder. This Sky Thunder Sword is about 1 meter too long and weighs about 10 kilograms. The sword body is purple, and it is also engraved with a mysterious pattern in the shape of thunder and lightning. It seems that there is a faint electric arc flashing. Naruto fondly stroked the sword, and now he also has a magical weapon. As for the first magical weapon, the Kusunaru sword, it has always been used by the female avatar. He entered a lightning-style chakra into the sky thunder sword, and then he waved it away. Boom! A big tree 10 meters away was directly blown to pieces, and the castration was unabated, and a huge hole was punched on the ground behind the big tree. If it hits someone, I'm afraid it will definitely die. Naruto looked at this power and smacked secretly. Then he thought for a while, raised the sky thunder sword, pointed it at the sky, and input a lightning-style chakra into it again. In an instant, the sky was covered with dark clouds, and the sky was thundering. A bolt of thunder and lightning quickly fell from the sky, directly hitting a 10-meter pit. This. Naruto was a little excited, and couldn't help thinking, if I had the body of Thor, wouldn't I be able to become a real Thor? The more Naruto thought about it, the more excited he became, and he wished to temporarily give up the exchange of the body of immortality and exchange for the body of Thunder God first. After a long while, I gradually calmed down and decided to think about it again. After all, Shanwa body is another broader road. If you exchange it first, you can lay a solid foundation first. He also needs to rely on the ninjutsu talent given by Sage Body of the Senju clan to master all the lightning styles in Scroll of Escape to the proficient level. In this way, he can save a lot of points for him to upgrade to the superb level, and then synthesize Thunder God's body. Soon. It's coming soon. A day later, the four Naruto finally returned to Konoha village and submitted the task scroll. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. Just when he arrived at the training ground and was about to practice lightning style, he was suddenly called back to Hokage's office by Anbu. He found that Shikamaru, Kakashi and others were actually here, all with serious expressions. Naruto, I have bad news for you. Tsunade frowned and said to Naruto. Little Sakura defected. What? How did little Sakura defect? Naruto asked curiously. He thought this incident was a bit outrageous. After all, it didn't happen in the original book. But it is not impossible to think about it carefully. Some time ago, after they failed to chase Sasuke back, didn't Sakura also thought about going out of the village alone to find Sasuke? It was just that Tsunade and Kakashi persuaded him, and Sakura didn't know where to look. This trivial matter also happened in the original work. Now it's different. Now little Sakura can successfully find Sasuke by following micro-fragrance bug. So, how did little Sakura successfully defected? The tiny incense worm I found last time has been kept here in Tsunade. Tsunade sighed and told Naruto and the others about how little Sakura had defected. It turned out that just yesterday, Sakura took the initiative to apply for a mission to go out. Unexpectedly, she stole the Weixiang worm stored in Hokage's office before setting off. In fact, there is also part of Tsunade's responsibility. Because Konoha was severely understaffed, she only kept 2 Hokage guards, taking turns guarding Hokage's office morning and night. In other words, there is usually only 1 Hokage guard guarding in Hokage's office. And because Tsunade goes to the izakaya to work while drinking from time to time, and doesn't often stay in Hokage's office. This gave little Sakura an opportunity. With her identity as a Tsunade disciple and a sweet and harmless smile, she asked the Hokage guard to drink a specially configured cup of tea. Then, Hokage's guard passed out, and she stole Weixiang worm. This is the basic process of little Sakura defecting. Little Sakura's behavior is very serious. But, Hokage-sama, do you want me to kill him or bring him back? Naruto raised his brows and looked at Tsunade and asked. Tsunade frowned and said, bring her back first. Then I won't go. If they want to find Sasuke, will they come back with us? Naruto snorted and continued. Furthermore, even if it is forced to bring it back, I'm afraid it might run away again. Boom. Tsunade slapped on the table, holding back his anger, and looking at Naruto. The 7th class really didn't let her worry. As soon as she became Hokage, Sasuke defected, and it didn't take long before little Sakura also defected. Naruto didn't defect, but he was so disobedient. Hey, I knew I wouldn't be this Hokage. Tsunade thought angrily, and then gave Kakashi a fierce look. Look at what kind of stuff the 7th class you brought out. Kakashi drooped the fish eyes, his heart was also extremely depressed. Tsunade thought of this, took a deep breath, and stared at Naruto hardly and said. This is an order. You must go and bring back little Sakura. Naruto flipped over Byakugan, then glared at Tsunade, only one meaning in his eyes. You want to force me, and I will defect too. Tsunade glared back unceremoniously. Do you dare to defect and try and see if I won't kill you? Try it. You. Bang. Tsunade completely smashed the table in front of him. Had it not been for Konoha's ninja, Naruto's strength had reached the level of the elite Jonin, and she would have killed Naruto with a single blow. After all, Naruto has just proven his own strength by killing Thundertooth, the Black Hoe, one of the 7 ninja swords. The people in the office didn't know what they were making eye contact, but they all knew that Tsunade was angry. They all left Hokage's office temporarily, evading far away. If you want me to go, you can give me the contract scroll in the Wet Bone Grove. Naruto said to Tsunade confidently. What, haven't you already contracted Mount Myoboku? Tsunade temporarily restrained his anger and asked suspiciously. Is it possible that after contracting Mount Myoboku, we can no longer contract the Wet Bone Forest? Naruto asked rhetorically. Tsunade remained silent, and the answer was self-evident. In the original book, Sasuke contracted Raichi Cave and a Big Eagle at the same time. Why contract the Wet Bone Forest? Tsunade asked at last. Because I want to save the dying and heal the wounded. Is this answer satisfactory? Naruto said with a grin. He knew that he had succeeded. Sure enough, Tsunade was silent for a while, and then angrily summoning produced a big black and white Katsuyu. Then, from the mouth of this big Katsuyu, a green scroll was spit out. Naruto reached out and took it, and wrote his name on it in blood without hesitation. Little Sakura, I really want to thank you very much. Naruto thought beautifully. Now, he has obtained the contract for the 3 major summoning holy sites. The female avatar signed a contract with Raichi Cave. This is extremely beneficial to his development after the exchange of Shanwa body. It even determines whether he will defect in the future. Konoha's pursuit team set off soon. There are mainly 4 Jonins, Kakashi, Might Guy, Yurihong and Asuma, and Genin from their class. Including Lee, Tenten, Hinata, Shino, Inuzuka, Shikamaru, Ino, Choji. And Naruto. No way, for the now weak Konoha village, it is already very good to be able to gather the 3 Kakashi Jonin and Naruto, and the rest can only be made up with Genin. At least these Genins can deal with some of Orochimaru's folks. Moreover, Hinata and the 3 of them also have very comprehensive investigative capabilities. The task that Tsunade gave them this time was to try their best to bring Sakura back. It would be even better if Sasuke could be tied back. If you can't beat Orochimaru, you can abandon the mission and save your strength. Of course, people like Kakashi know that they won't be Orochimaru's opponents together. They can only find a way to sneak Sakura back. It is best to catch up with little Sakura before she reaches Orochimaru. Therefore, this group of people drove very fast, and several Genin could only gritted their teeth and followed teacher Jonin with their heads chased. Seeing Hinata panting, Naruto carried her behind her back, making the other people envious. Seeing this, Ino couldn't help but feel some upset in his heart. Why didn't he find Naruto, the treasure boy, when he was in the ninja school? For Sasuke, Ino's heart has gradually faded. Compared to the little Sakura, who was born as a civilian, Ino is a little more sensible and knows more about the issues of right and wrong. If Sasuke didn't defect, I'm afraid she would still fight to chase Sasuke like little Sakura. However, Sasuke has defected now and is an enemy, so she began to consider whether to fall in love with a betrayer. Tenten retracted his envious gaze and looked at Xiaoli in front of him. He couldn't help but whispered, Li. Xiaoli turned his head, but looked at Tenten vigorously, revealing an iconic white fang and thumb. Tenten, this is the youth that Mr. Guy has been talking about. Well, your youth. Tenten couldn't help but feel frustrated. Inuzuka Toga and Shino, as well as Kakashi's ninja dog, are great tools for tracking Sakura. Their Akamaru, Shinobu, and Bugs have all smelled the little Sakura, and they are following the little Sakura all the way. However, after they traveled at extreme speed for 2 hours, they encountered a big problem. The smell of little Sakura is separated. To be precise, the smell of little Sakura faces northwest and the other faces northeast. Obviously, this was deliberately done by little Sakura, just to distract and mislead the pursuit team. Kakashi stopped and quickly made up their minds. Kakashi and Might Guy are the strongest, and they take Xiaoli and Tenten to the northeast. Asuma and Yurihong are weak, and paired with Naruto, they took the remaining 3 of Hinata and Shikamaru to the northwest. If you find which way is wrong, change directions in time to catch up with the other team. If any team finds that Sakura has arrived at Orochimaru, don't do anything rashly. After the other people are notified to gather, they will act together. Finally, several people agreed on 2 temporary meeting points on the map. Little Sakura's big pursuit. This is the beginning. No one knows what people and difficulties will be encountered next. It's really hard to imagine. Just when Naruto and the others split up, another group of ninjas quietly left from Konoha village, in exactly the same direction as Naruto and the others. No one noticed this incident except Naruto, but Naruto didn't take it to heart. After all, there were more ninjas going out to perform tasks every day. Naruto only cares about one thing now: can he catch up with Sakura? Do you want to kill little Sakura? It doesn't matter how much hatred he and Sakura have. Although Sakura's attitude towards Naruto in the original book is very irritating, now Naruto has teased her many times after crossing over, cheating and cheating. It is estimated that little Sakura wants to chase Sasuke all the time, and it is also related to Naruto's use of transformation technique to tease her. After all, in the eyes of little Sakura, the people who kissed her before were all Sasuke. Thinking about this, Naruto's anger in his heart now calmed down. Then it depends on the mood. Naruto thought while running. There seems to be no good reason to kill her. If you don't kill her, it will not have much effect on yourself. But does killing someone need a reason for me? Doesn't it need to be? Naruto was carrying Hinata on his back, thinking wildly, until 10 minutes later, his heart suddenly moved and he raised his head and looked forward subconsciously. After traveling for another hour, the smell of little Sakura actually spread out into 2 directions. How to do? Asuma and Yurihong called Naruto over, frowned and thought. This little Sakura is simply too cunning. I don't know what method she used to continuously divert her own smell. Red, let's split up in 2 ways next. Asuma looked at his daughter-in-law with concern. You should go with Naruto. Naruto is said to be comparable to Kakashi. It should be able to make you less dangerous. Asuma, then put all genins in your group. Shikamaru and Shino are still quite good. Yurihong said. No, Naruto suddenly refused decisively next to him. I have no problem with your husband and wife being separated, but you can't separate me and Hinata. Asuma and Yurihong looked at each other speechlessly, sighed, and finally made up their minds. Let's do this. Red, you are in a group with Naruto, Hinata, and Ya, and rely on Ya's ability to continue tracking the smell. Okay, Yurihong agreed and greeted Naruto. Let's go, Naruto, let's go this way. No, Naruto shook his head, and then pointed to the front left. Let's go this way. Asuma, go the other way. Why? Jiraiya asked suspiciously. Because I feel that little Sakura ran in this direction. After all, we are teammates. Naruto casually explained. Immediately, the crowd divided into 2 groups, saying goodbye and leaving. Hinata wanted to get off Naruto's back, but Naruto still insisted on carrying her. This made Hinata blush, and could only use Byakugan to investigate the surrounding situation seriously, to be a guard for everyone. Just after Naruto and the others moved forward again for half an hour, Inazukaya, who was in charge of tracking and investigating, suddenly sent a warning from the front of the team. Hinata also warned Naruto on his back. There are 4 ninjas fighting in front of him. One of them was besieged and just fell to the ground. After Jiraiya made a gesture to everyone, she lurked in the past. When Naruto approached and saw the figure lying on the ground, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but raised. It's really you, water without moon white. Since a few months ago, in the country of Nami, after being killed by Naruto again, Mizumi has been wandering aimlessly in the world of Shinobu alone. For him, who had been ruined since he was a child, and was taken in by no longer beheaded as his heaven and his land. When he died suddenly, he felt that life suddenly became meaningless, and there was no goal, just like a walking dead, wandering and wandering all the time. Later, he thought of suicide, but was rescued by an old man, and temporarily lived with the old man. Slowly, he felt that it was not bad to live an ordinary life, to hide himself from the world, away from the disputes and killings in the ninja world. So he settled down in the prosperous country of fire. However, Kurigakure assassinated the troops, and never gave up on not cutting in his pursuit. It's not that Mizumi Shiro has committed such a great crime against Kurigakure, but Kurigakure has taken a fancy to his blood and bounds. At the beginning, it was Yagura, who was controlled by Obito, who killed all the blood succession boundary clan in his village. After Yagura's death, Kurigakure immediately made up for and amended the previous blood fog policy. They began to look for the descendants of these ninja families with blood inheritance boundaries, let them work hard to reproduce descendants, rebuild the families, and enhance Kurigakure's strength. Although the existence of the ninja family is not conducive to the righteousness of the village, it is undeniable that they are the strong pillar that supports every ninja village. In general, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. In fact, you only need to look at who the various shadows of these 5 ninja villages are. Apart from Konoha's 4th Hokage, who is a civilian ninja. Even the first-generation movies who created the various shinobu villages, if there is no strong family backing, can one person calm the troubled times of a country? Ha ha. Seriously, even 4th Hokage has a strong heritage. He is Jiraiya's apprentice and inherited the Flying Thunder God technique of 2nd Hokage. Otherwise, Namikaze Minato can really have cage-level strength. Can you really become 4th Hokage? Therefore, I have to admit that this world is a world dominated by elites. Of course, the same is true of the Earth world where Naruto was before. Now, Kurigakure had to find sadly that there is only one descendant of the Mizutsuki family in this world, and that is Mizutsuki. Bye, we are not malicious to you. The elders just hope to welcome you back to the village and make up for our previous mistakes. A masked Kurigakure assassinated the ninja, and calmly continued to Mizumi Shiro. Unfortunately, you can't understand our affection, so we can only use it to be strong. I hope you don't blame us. Since the death of Yagura, Kurigakure has not elected the 5th Mizukage for the time being, and is temporarily taken care of by the elders. It wasn't until 3 years later that Akatsuki's mission to destroy the world began, and Terumi was promoted to the 5th Mizukage position. At this time, Shui Wuyubai was lying on the ground with hollow eyes, looking ahead, and in the distance in front of him, was the corpse of the old man who had saved him. There was a burst of colic in his heart, and then he became numb again. He thought of his mother, who was killed by his own father. At that time, his father still wanted to kill him, but unfortunately, he was counter-killed by the sudden burst of blood. Therefore, Shui Wuyubai absolutely didn't want to return to the country that made him sad. Now, looking at the old man's body lying in a pool of blood, the fire of hope that he had just ignited not long ago to survive has been extinguished again. His heart is ashamed. Whatever, there is no home for me anyway. Mizumi Shiro thought this way, and he was no longer resisted by Kurigakure's assassinated ninja, and walked towards Kurigakure. Teacher Hong, what shall we do? Do you want to stop them? Inuzukaga gestured to Yurihong and asked. No, Shirihong shook her head. The person they want to arrest should be Kurigakure originally, and we still have a task on hand. We can't delay here. She still heard about what happened in Kurigakure that year. After Yurihong made gestures, he immediately led the crowd and followed the smell of little Sakura again. But what she didn't notice was that behind them, the only one who followed them was Naruto's shadow clone. Hinata lying on the back of Shadow Clone, his expression moved slightly, and his mouth moved, without saying anything. Instead, try to stay as still as possible, lest the Shadow Clone be scattered. Whoosh whoosh. Dozens of kunai shot 3 Kurigakure assassinated ninjas from all directions. Clang clang clang. The 3 Wurin quickly blocked Kuwu, and then took a defensive formation, vigilantly looking at the enemies, in all directions. We seem to be surrounded. Who is the enemy? Konoha shinobi. While they were fully alert and guessing the origin and purpose of the enemy, they did not notice the kunai scattered under their feet. Each kumasu is engraved with a special curse symbol, fly. If it were in the war years 10 years ago, they would never allow others to exist at their feet or nearby. But now, the yellow flash has become a legend. Until now. Whoosh, pouch, whoosh, pouch, whoosh, yellow, pouch, bang bang bang. The bodies of 3 mist shinobi assassinated ninjas fell to the ground. Shui Wuyubai, who was tied up, lay on the ground, calmly looking at Naruto in front of him, and then spoke for a while. I know you, in the country of Wave. If you don't cut Mr. Sword, you will die there. Naruto shook off the blood drops on the blade of the thunder spirit, and looked at the water on the ground condescendingly. You need to find a new support and be my follower. Shui Wuyubai did not speak. Her eyes scanned the Kuwu and the decapitated corpse on the ground, and then her eyes gradually became mocking. It seems that you killed Mr. Slash anymore. The same shot was killed, the same cut off the head. I didn't expect you to have this kind of strength. Ha, are you looking for my revenge? Naruto frowned and looked at him. No, it doesn't make sense anymore. Mizuki's eyes darkened. Death is the fate of a ninja. Fate of bullshit. Naruto sneered disdainfully. The fate is always in his hands, and anyone who accepts his fate is a bully. You, Shui Wuyubai said again. What are you? Naruto interrupted him impatiently. Don't think that you look like a woman, you have to be like a woman. I will send you to a place where there is a coward like you. Maybe you will have a common language. After that, Naruto bent down and grabbed Mizumi Shiro's shoulders, and disappeared in place with a flash of figure. Jiraiya team is here. Within half a minute of Shadow Clone's excuse to release water and leave, Naruto's body returned. Hinata continued to lie on Naruto's back, smelling an insignificant smell of blood, and there was a hint of worry in her eyes. Running in the arms of Inuzuka at the front, Akamaru quietly revealed a dog's head and barked twice to his owner. Inuzuka frowned, subconsciously wanted to look back, but held back. He remembered the horror that Naruto brought to them the last time he was looking for the tiny incense worm. In this way, after everyone ran forward for 3 more hours, finally, the smell of little Sakura became stronger and stronger, which means that they seemed to be catching up with her soon. At this moment, Inuzuka's face suddenly changed slightly, and he said to Yurihong. There is not only the smell of little Sakura, but also 2 powerful strange ninjas. Inuzuka's words made Yurihong's heart stunned, and he whispered, Hinata. Hinata said softly, and immediately opened Byakugan and looked forward. Teacher Hong, there are indeed 2 powerful ninjas staying with Sakura in front of him. Hinata said quickly. That means our path is correct, but Jiraiya didn't say the next thing. This is a good thing, but it is also a bad thing. For the Yurihong team, they are about to have a fierce battle, and the 2 powerful strange ninjas don't know whether they can successfully defeat them. Neither Inuzuka's Akamaru nor Hinata's Byakugan will analyze the enemy's strength. Jiraiya thought of this and continued. The 2 strange ninjas are probably Orochimaru people. We must stop them before they take Sakura away. Yurihong then ordered. Yeah, you follow the smell to inform the Kakashi team. Okay. Inuzuka did not hesitate, and immediately ran in the other direction. This was what they had said in advance. Yurihong saw his teeth and left, and took out a vial from the ninja bag, which contained 2 special bugs. She carefully released one, and the bug hovered over her head for a week, then immediately flew in the other direction. This is Shino's bug. If one is released, it will automatically return to Shino, so that the Asuma squad where Shino is will rush over here. The coordinates are the other bug in the vial. This vial is also unique, not only contains special insect information, but also has vents that can continuously emit the pheromone of the insects inside. After doing all this, Yurihong looked back at Naruto and Hinata behind her and said. Hinata, after a while you will chase young Sakura, if you can't persuade her, then knock her down, and then quickly return to Konoha village. Yeah, Hinata got down from Naruto's back, and she had recharged her energy all the way, preserving the most complete combat power. Remember, Hinata, your mission is the most important thing. Don't care about our situation, you just have to successfully bring the little Sakura back to Konoha village. Jiraiya said solemnly at last. Hearing this, Hinata looked at Naruto worriedly next to him. Seeing that he was smiling encouragingly at himself, he nodded firmly and agreed. Ahead, little Sakura's side. 2 ninjas wearing gray costumes from Otoyan village, face masks and headgear, surrounded Sakura one after another. Little Sakura, we need your help. One of the ninjas said, his tone was cold and did not contain any emotion. What? Little Sakura was holding kunai in his hand, with tight muscles all over, looking at each other vigilantly. The micro-incense worm had been put back into the small jar. Are you Orochimaru's subordinates? Can you take me to find him? No, find Sasuke. We will safely escort you to Orochimaru. but then you must pass on Orochimaru's information to us. The two strange ninjas didn't seem to hear little Sakura's pleading, and continued to speak for themselves. You are not the ninjas of Otonin village, or Orochimaru's subordinates? Little Sakura asked suspiciously, and was ready to escape. You don't care who we are, you just have to agree to our request. The strange ninja continued to say coldly, and then stepped forward to control the little Sakura. Impossible, little Sakura said as she turned and ran in the other direction. But her current strength is too good, but in the next second, she was punched to the ground by the strange ninja. The severe pain made her body difficult to move. When another strange ninja stepped forward, got a seal with both hands, and was about to cast a curse seal on little Sakura, suddenly, a hurricane fell from the sky. The two strange ninjas immediately picked up little Sakura, just to avoid them. But the next second, they had just landed to avoid the hurricane, and their bodies could no longer move. When they lowered their heads, they were actually entangled by two trees. Boom, boom. The two strange ninjas entangled in trees suddenly turned into two white mists, which turned out to be two shadow clones. And this so-called tree is naturally just a red illusion. But the next second, the enemy's right hand touched Yurihong's right shoulder. The right shoulder that was touched immediately turned black and spread rapidly to other parts of the body. Boom. Jiraiya also turned into a cloud of white mist, obviously this was also shadow clone. This is the cunning nature of ninjas. In the face of unfamiliar enemies, few people use their body to fight. And these two strange ninjas will use shadow clone, indicating that they have discovered Naruto and Yurihong in advance, indicating that there are sentient ninjas among them. Naruto has guessed the identity of the two of them. After the two men caught up from behind their squad, they detoured and passed them, and finally ran in front of them and made a costume like a ninja in Otoyakura. The purpose is not to reveal their true identity as brute ninjas. One of them, in Naruto's perception, the situation in his body is somewhat similar to that of Shino. He must be Danzo's two major guards, and Aburame is undoubtedly taking the route. In order not to reveal his identity, the other party didn't use the worm clone just now, but instead used shadow clone. But all this was in vain when he faced Naruto. The other person, Naruto, was not sure at first, but after knowing that the other person has sentimentality, he can probably guess that he is Yamanaka. Of course, there is a small probability that it may not be. In any case, Naruto flew directly into the air, avoiding the terrifying nanoworm that Aburame took root. Now, in Naruto's perception, another enemy has taken the little Sakura and ran forward, leaving only Aburame to take the routes to stop the two of them. Obviously, the task is always the first consideration for the root ninja. Senior Red, another strange ninja has taken little Sakura in that direction. Go chase. Naruto in the air pointed a direction to Yurihong and said. Only when Jiraiya leaves, can he let go of his hands and feet and display his true abilities. Okay, Jiraiya nodded and ran in that direction decisively. Hinata also quietly followed behind. Seeing this, Aburame wanted to stop him, but was blocked by several wind blades. He could only raise his head and look at Naruto in the air, and his mood gradually became heavier, because he knew that his abilities were completely restrained by Naruto. Wind wall. Sure enough, in the next second, he saw Naruto slap both hands, and a ring-shaped wall composed of wind style surrounded him. Aburame took the route and wanted to rush out, but found that the speed of the wind wall was too fast, and he had been surrounded by him. But even so, he is not without the ability to escape. He quietly condensed the bugs into a whirlwind drill, sneaked into the ground quietly from under his feet, preparing to dig a hole to escape. Don't ask why nanoworms can burrow into the ground. In the original book, Shino's worms can also form a bridge. Because these are all special ninjutsu. After all, Aburame must be able to become Danzo's escort by taking roots. But Naruto, with his super perceptual ability, is clear about his small movements, and naturally will not let Aburame's plan to take roots succeed. I saw Naruto input chakra into the Sky Thunder Sword. The Sky Thunder Sword instantly thundered, and then plunged into the ground fiercely. Crackling, thunder and lightning spread rapidly around the ground. Reek soil. The soil conducts electricity, and the underground nanoworms are quickly electrocuted. Black Hole Ya once used this trick. Aburame's face was hard to look at. Not only did his plan to escape from the ground failed, but he also jumped into the air to avoid being affected by the lightning on the ground. But when a person is in midair, it is easy to become a target. Hurricane. In the ring-shaped wind wall, gusts of wind swept quickly, and countless wind blades burst and howled. Aburame took roots like leaves in the wind, and was quickly divided by these wind blades. Not only that, Naruto released a lot of thunder and lightning on Aburame's rooted corpse, until he was completely turned into charcoal. Finally, another wave of fire dragons will completely burn him to ashes. Well, this is the perfect disinfection job. Naruto smiled, and directed a whirlwind to roll up the lightning sword on the ground that was still discharging, put it on his back, and then did not land on the ground, and went straight from the air towards the evening red. Ding dong. Congratulations to host for killing one of Jonin and earn 100 points. Naruto grinned happily when he heard the system prompt. As Aburame root weak? Not weak at all. His nano-worms are completely an assassination and yin artifact, otherwise how could they become the guardian of Danzo's old coin? But as the saying goes, all things grow and restrain each other, and there must be natural enemies. Now Naruto is his natural enemy, killing him is too easy. On the other side of Yurihong, he chased the Yamanaka in front of him. She has always felt that since the other party is wearing Otoyakura costumes and according to the purpose of his behavior, it must be Orochimaru's subordinates, and never expected that he would be Danzo's root ninja. It was even more unexpected that I would encounter the weird secret technique of the Yamanaka clan, and I would be hit. Just as Shirahong was running forward in the woods, suddenly a strange scarecrow jumped from the tree and attacked her with a sickle in his hand. Shirahong reacted in time. Kunai blocked the sickle attack in her hand, but she was taken aback when she saw the appearance of the enemy in front of her. Why is it a scarecrow? Is it puppetry? After all, Yurihong is a special Jonin made by the Illusion Grandmaster, and his melee ability is not that strong yet. At the moment when she was so stunned, a spell on the scarecrow's face disappeared. Shirahong only felt black in front of her eyes. When she opened her eyes again, she saw her body standing opposite her. Well, what's going on? Shirahong was still a little dazed for a while. Time is running out, Yamanaka Feng will not tell her what is going on. He quickly set up a simple trap, controlling Shirahong's body to jump towards the sickle. His neck was aimed at the blade of the sickle. As long as he jumps down, and the spiritual body returns to the original body in time before the neck is severed by the sickle, he will be able to kill Shirahong. Yurihong among the scarecrows has already reflected the true identity of the other party. This secret technique for controlling the body is only available to the Yamanaka clan of Konoha. But now it's too late to understand, she is going to die soon, and Shirahong's heart is desperate. At this very moment, Naruto rushed to the distance not far in front of Yamanaka Feng. At this time, the opponent's body was hiding in an extremely hidden tree hole. But he didn't go any further, because there was a trap in front of him protecting Yamanaka Feng's body. Yamanaka Feng, who had already used the puppet heart-turning technique, his body was completely unaware, and he could only use this method to protect his body as much as possible. In this case, his companions will take care of his body, so that he can be safer. But now, he is alone. In order to quickly get rid of the overtaken Shirahong, he can only take risks. He felt that Yurihong's companion, Naruto, would not catch up so quickly. But how could he know that his teammate Aburame would lose the roots so quickly, and Naruto possessed super perceptual power, and he found out where his main body was in an instant. However, Yamanaka Feng has the last insurance, which is the trap in front of the body. Once someone touches it, it will not only be injured or even killed, but also warn the distant Yamanaka wind spirit body, and the Yamanaka wind spirit body will immediately return to the main body. But now, what he encountered was Naruto, who had already sensed the trap. Naruto saw this, taunting at the corner of his mouth. What a good ninja subordinate, but unfortunately it can't be used by me. Then it can only kill you. Naruto thought of this, and the heavenly thunder sword in his hand pointed at Yamanaka Feng's body, and a thick thunder and lightning shot from the heavenly thunder sword, breaking through the trap, and exploding the opponent's body with one blow. The Yamanaka wind mental body in the distance immediately sensed it, and a wave of despair suddenly appeared, which disappeared in the blink of an eye. Yamanaka wind, die. Danzo's two guards were destroyed. Ding dong. Congratulations to host for killing one of Jonin and earn 100 points. And Shi Raihong also returned to her body. When her neck was about to hit the sickle, she avoided it in time, but let her right shoulder be stabbed by the sickle. Although he was injured, he didn't die. It is a blessing among the blessings. Her forehead was already covered with cold sweat. After Naruto killed Yamanaka Kase, he and Yurihong joined together. Where is little Sakura? Naruto asked Yurihong. Already ran in that direction. Yurihong pointed to the front left and continued, but Hinata has already caught up. After speaking, her right shoulder suddenly hurt, making her face pale. Naruto took a closer look, and Yurihong's right shoulder was almost cut off by the sickle, and the sickle was still in her shoulder. Obviously, Shi Raihong was unable to participate in the subsequent pursuit. I'll go after it myself. Naruto finished speaking and walked towards Hinata. As for healing her, don't be nonsense. In his heart, it was a good thing for Yurihong to be injured, so that no one would see part of his true ability. Such as Flying Thunder God technique. After he was far away from Yurihong, behind a huge boulder, Naruto sensed where Hinata was, and his body instantly disappeared in place. In the next moment, he appeared next to Hinata. But after he appeared, he quickly hugged Hinata, disappeared in place, and returned to the huge boulder he had just left in the distance. At the same time, just listen to a faint roar of explosion coming from a very far place. That place is exactly where Hinata was just now. Sure, one more second, I will lose you. Naruto looked at Hinata in his arms, and said with lingering fear. After speaking, his face gradually turned pale. Who did it? Little Sakura. Naruto's voice was like a cold wind. He had already made up his mind, even if it was done by little Sakura, he would not hesitate to chase to the ends of the world and kill the opponent. Go to your mother, Sasuke. You two will be faithful mandarin ducks in hell. Not little Sakura. Hinata shook his head. It's a young ninja riding on a big black and white weird bird. Root, black and white weird big bird. Isn't that the son-in-law of Sai? Gone. Naruto hugged Hinata, quickly soaring into the sky, and came to the sky to look over. I saw in the sky, far away, there was indeed a black spot that resembled a big bird flying. It should be Sai. And little Sakura, I'm afraid it's also on Sai's big bird. Although Naruto still doesn't know what Root's intention is, he must kill Sai now. If you dare to kill my daughter-in-law, then I will crush you. That means you have no family, otherwise I will kill your whole family. Thinking of this, Naruto hugged Hinata, and immediately took the wind towards the other party. As for why Sai suddenly appeared here, the cause and effect of the incident are as follows. Danzo sent 6 root ninjas, followed by Naruto, Kakashi, and Asuma quietly behind them. And along with Naruto, Kakashi and Asuma also divided into 3 teams. When the insects of Inuzuka and Shino notified the Kakashi team and the Asuma team respectively, the 2 root teams following them, in order to buy time for Aburame to take roots, began to show up to stop them. In the process, Sai's teammate dragged the Kakashi team alone, and Sai took the opportunity to take the super beast and pseudo-painted bird to support Aburame in taking the roots. The speed of the high-altitude flight is very fast, and the vision is also wide. The wind and thunder when Naruto and Aburame take the roots and fight also point out the direction for Sai. Sai quickly bypassed Naruto, finally found little Sakura, and discovered the scene where Hinata blocked little Sakura. In order to quickly resolve the battle and avoid being overtaken by Naruto, Sai took advantage of Hinata's chance to find Byakugan before opening Byakugan, and sneaked all the detonating charms he carried towards Hinata from a high altitude. Then he swooped down and took the little Sakura to his super beast pseudo-painting big bird, and walked away. This is the general course of the matter, and the specific details will not be repeated. At this time, Naruto walked away from the sky, chasing Sai quickly, and the distance between the two was gradually shortening. Seeing this, Sai was surprised by Naruto's strength and knew that it would be difficult to escort little Sakura away, so he said to little Sakura, "According to our intelligence, Orochimaru's secret base is nearby. I will send you down. Remember, you must pass information to us every 10 days, following the method I told you just now. Otherwise, the poison I just left in your body will strike." After all, Sai ignored Sakura's ugly face, and drew a big bird, pushing the little Sakura up. The big bird swooped down with the little Sakura and disappeared into the dense forest on the ground. Then, Sai blankly looked at Naruto, who was getting closer and closer, thinking in his heart. Master Danzo, I want to be loyal to you. It's a pity that I won't cast a spell, I can only use poison on the target. The poison that Sai feeds to the little Sakura is specially made from the roots, and the roots also retain the relieving medicine, which can control the little Sakura for a long time. A minute later, Naruto stared at Sai, who was standing on the black and white bird, as if looking at a dead person. I hate you so much, it used to be, now it is even more. Naruto looked at the opposite Sai coldly. Although the other party was wearing the costume of Otoyan village, it was an unnecessary move in front of Naruto. Sai did not speak, but lowered his head to concentrate on drawing. In less than a second, a dozen black and white eagles with sharp claws rushed out of the painting axis, and then rushed towards Naruto floating in the air. Small bugs. Naruto snorted disdainfully. Sai's special forbearance methods are mainly auxiliary, including flying, reconnaissance, sealing, etc., but the combat power is much worse. At this time, with a wave of Naruto's right hand, a gust of wind blew out, blowing away all the black and white eagles that came up, returning them to a ball of ink. The gale went unabated and continued to blow towards Sai not far away. Seeing this, Sai quickly steered the big bird under his feet to avoid it, then turned his head and flew away. Can you escape? Naruto sneered, chasing after the wind, and at the same time slapped both hands. A wall of wind appeared out of nowhere in front of Sai, blocking his way. When Sai was about to hit the wind wall, he swooped down with the big bird violently. Typhoon. Naruto had an idea and suddenly remembered Kisami's classic ninjutsu. So, he slapped both hands, and with the god-level bloodline body of the wind god gave him the ability to manipulate the wind wall formed a huge wind ball that wrapped Sai. Within the huge typhoon, more and more wind blades appeared, slashing towards Sai. Moreover, the typhoon is rapidly shrinking, but there are more and more wind blades. At this moment, Sai is like a fly caught in a balloon, rushing from left to right, but it is impossible to rush out, only to die in the shrinking balloon. At the same time, the number of wind blades in the typhoon bulb became more and more dense. Soon, the big bird at Sai's feet was hit by the wind blade and turned into a ball of ink. Sai fell down, and just as he lowered his head to draw another big bird, he only heard the harsh whistling sound coming from behind his head. He looked back subconsciously. Pouch. The head fell, and the broken body floated down from the air. Hinata, who was lying on Naruto's back, couldn't bear to close his eyes. Naruto didn't even watch the bloody scene, waved away the typhoon. This ninjutsu is good. Naruto nodded in admiration. Since he got function body, he has never developed too much powerful wind-style ninjutsu. It can only be said that he can't play, and he is also very distressed. But from then on, this ninjutsu will become his signature wind-style ninjutsu. Naruto, I can't see little Sakura anymore. Hinata opened Byakugan again and whispered to Naruto, she should have successfully entered Orochimaru's secret base. Orochimaru's bases are generally on cliffs or deep underground. You want to use Byakugan to find them, unless you stand on the ground and explore the ground bit by bit. Haha, it's okay, I have a way. The corner of Naruto's mouth raised and said that he had just sensed the place where little Sakura had disappeared, and the entrance to the base should be there. Of course, this is not Naruto's main method to find Sakura, because Orochimaru's base is full of traps and it is difficult to break through. And he has a shortcut. Because he now perceives a space mark of Flying Thunder God, near the disappearance of little Sakura, deep underground. Hinata, can you see what's going on underground? Naruto landed in a large bush with Hinata on his back, gestured to her and asked. Hinata heard the words, opened Byakugan obediently, and looked down at the ground. 1 minute later, Hinata closed Byakugan and gestured to Naruto. There is really an underground base. There are many people who seem to be detained, but no Sakura is seen, nor Orochimaru and Sasuke. Naruto thought for a while after listening. Little Sakura is very likely to see Orochimaru, and Orochimaru was taken to a deeper base, or within the anti-reconnaissance prohibition. So, is he going to bring out little Sakura next? Of course not. Does little Sakura follow Orochimaru, and what does life or death have to do with him? They have found true love, and are happily following Sasuke. Why do you want to be such a villain? The key is to fight Orochimaru in Orochimaru's territory, unless he uses Mangekyo Sharingan. And Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil power is so precious, why do you do something that is not good? As for Tsunade's mission, go to his sister. It's not our fault, it's Danzo's pot. Who told him to send rude ninjas to stop us? After making up his mind, Naruto left the matter of little Sakura behind, and now he decided to meet an acquaintance. But before that, he needs to place Hinata in a safe place. So he immediately disappeared in place with Hinata on his back, and after 10 seconds, he appeared alone in the underground base. This is a 10 square meter cell. A girl with red hair is sitting in a corner of the cell, holding her legs in silence. The darkened cell is just like the gloomy heart of a girl. When Naruto appeared, she slowly raised her head, revealing a beautiful but numb face. When she saw Naruto, her expression was clearly incredulous, and then her numb face seemed to shine again, illuminating the entire cell. The girl stood up, staggered, then stumbled towards Naruto, and at the same time a rattling iron chain came from under her feet. Naruto, Naruto-kun, isn't this true? Is it true? You really heard my heart, come to save me. The girl hugged Naruto tightly, and the crying pear blossoms with rain soon soaked Naruto's clothes. Xianglin, long time no see. Speaking of Xianglin, since he was rescued by Naruto in the Death Forest where Chunin took the exam a few months ago, Naruto's figure flashed in his mind from time to time. Not so handsome as to explode, but it can give her an absolute sense of security, as if the world is not in his eyes. But then, Xianglin fell into a nightmare. After coming out of the Death Forest, Xianglin, who failed the exam, walked around Konoha village for a few days, then set off to return to Kalyan village with another teammate. It takes 10 days to walk from Konoha village to Kalyan village. Just as she was about to enter the country of grass, she suddenly ran into Orochimaru who had just escaped from Konoha village. Although she avoided ahead of time by virtue of her perception, her teammates' mistakes exposed her, and then she was seriously injured by Otonin F4. But with physical healing, not only did she not die, she stood up and continued to escape. This situation was immediately noticed by Orochimaru, who randomly guessed her identity, and quickly captured her. The next step is the dark prison life, continuous blood drawing and experimentation. Orochimaru tried to treat her arms with her blood, but it failed. After Orochimaru seized the magic pill, the experiment on her continued. Not only many people were injured by Orochimaru deliberately, and then came to bite her to recover. It seemed that they would use this to test the data of physical healing. Therefore, her body is already covered in cuts and bruises, covered with tooth marks, and she can't get rid of it anyway. In fact, it is not only physically, but also spiritually. Every day, in the gloomy cell, she recalled the good times before, until the memories gradually gathered into a figure. Naruto-kun, will you come to rescue me like last time? Xianglin prayed in her heart as usual. To this day, she suddenly felt an extra figure suddenly appeared in front of her, and the familiar smell of chakra. Naruto, Naruto-kun. Just as Naruto was suddenly hugged by Xianglin, embarrassingly not knowing what to say, a rebuke came from outside the cell. Xianglin, what are you doing, so loud? How about I beat you up again? Anyway, you'll be well soon. With that, a burly figure stood outside the cell. You, who are you? How did you come in? The burly figure was taken aback for a moment, and asked Naruto angrily. Me, I am the one who killed you. As he said, a wind blade was waved by Naruto casually, cutting off the opponent's neck decisively. Then, he and Xianglin disappeared into the cell. When Naruto appeared next to Hinata again, his expression was a little awkward. Because Xianglin is like a koala, firmly coiled around him, with his face still buried in his chest. Hinata stared at Xianglin blankly, wondering in her heart, who is this? Is it the little Sakura who used transformation technique? Hinata, she is a friend I met during the Chunin exam, and she has been held by Orochimaru since then. Naruto hurriedly explained to Hinata. I believe you, Naruto-kun, she must have suffered a lot from Orochimaru. Hinata looked at the ragged Xianglin and said with concern. Hearing these words, Xianglin finally raised her head to look at Hinata, feeling a warm feeling in her heart. Xianglin, this is my wife, can you get off me first? Naruto said to Shongrin that he was not only worried about Hinata's sadness, but also because his body was about to be unable to hold on, and he would be embarrassed after a while. What? Shongrin looked at Hinata, then at Naruto, standing on the ground with a sad expression. Shongrin, where are you going next? Naruto looked at Shongrin and asked, are you going back to Kalyan village? No, Shongrin looked at Naruto and said firmly, I want to follow Naruto-kun. Follow me. Naruto's heart moved. Shongrin's strength is not strong, but it is a very good support. If you train it again, it will be more effective for him. After all, he also has the Uzumaki clan sage body, and has also learned medical ninjutsu. Yes, but you have to stay in one place for a while. Don't worry, I will visit that place from time to time. Naruto smiled and said to Shongrin, what he said. Naturally, it is the newly established Snow Ninja Village. As for bringing Shonglin back to Konoha village, Tsunade will definitely interrogate Shongrin, at least to squeeze out all the information about Orochimaru. Finally, he was sent back to Kalyan village. After all, Konoha village and Kusakura village are allies, and they will certainly not turn the ninjas of Kusakura village into Konoha village ninjas for no reason. Can I see you often? Naruto-kun, Shongrin asked expectantly while looking at Naruto. Of course, there are still some important things waiting for me to deal with it. However, before sending you away, I want to heal your injuries first. As Naruto said, he opened Shongrin's sleeves, and saw a row of teeth marks, full of her arms. Ah, Hinata, who was next to him, couldn't help but exclaimed when he saw it. Shongrin lowered her head, trying to withdraw her arm, not wanting Naruto to see her ugliness, but Naruto clung to her tightly. Naruto-kun, Shongrin said and cried. Oh, it's okay, I'll heal you. Naruto grabbed Shongrin's arm with his left hand, and his right hand radiated a soft green light, gently stroking her scar. With your physique, these scars should heal soon, Naruto said softly, maybe because the scars in your heart are still there. Shongrong lowered her head, her shoulders twitched, tears falling on the ground. Hinata's eyes showed sympathy and sadness, and she quietly held Shongrong's clothes corner from behind. How do you know my physique? Shonglin asked whimperingly. Because me too, Naruto said, canceling the system's blocking of his hair color. Shongrong raised her head with teary eyes, and was surprised to see that Naruto's yellow hair had gradually turned red. It's exactly the same as hers. Hinata next to her opened her small mouth and watched Naruto's magical changes. Her heart became more and more surprised at the secrets and changes in Naruto's body. No wonder, the first time I saw you, I felt a kind of intimacy. It turns out that we are of the same race. Shongshu murmured, but immediately started crying again. Oh, what's wrong with you? Naruto asked helplessly. Then I won't be able to marry you in the future. Shonglin asked worriedly. Naruto opened his mouth and wanted to tell her that the same family can get married, and I don't know why this silly girl doesn't know this. But he wouldn't tell Shonglin this kind of thing, just let her misunderstand it. On the contrary, Hinata next to him was about to open his mouth to tell Shongrin the truth, but was immediately stopped by Naruto's eyes. You stupid boy, you want Shongrong to marry me. Hinata understood Naruto's meaning, and couldn't help but blush, a touch of sweetness in his heart. Soon, under Naruto's treatment and comfort, all the tooth marks on Shongrong's body were erased. In reluctance, Shongrin was sent to Schwerin village by Naruto. When Naruto came back again, the Kakashi team and the Asuma team finally rushed over with Yuhihong, who had temporarily treated the wound. As for the root ninja who blocked Kakashi, Might Guy, and Asuma, they were all killed. Sakura still managed to reach Sasuke as expected. After hearing Naruto's brief talk, Kakashi muttered with a dim look in his eyes. This time, the 7th class can be said to be completely disbanded. Sasuke and little Sakura both defected. Naruto is as strong as him, but he has a rift with him, so how can he be his team member? It seems that I am not suitable to be the leader of the team. Kakashi said in a low voice. Asuma looked down at Kakashi and patted him on the shoulder. Don't say that, Kakashi, your students are all excellent, but they are unique. Kakashi, the road to youth is always full of twists and turns, so we regroup and we have to look forward. Might Guy also extended his thumb to encourage Kakashi. Naruto next to him did not speak, but when he saw Kakashi's encouragement from these friends, he couldn't help but curl his lips. How lucky. Thinking of this, Naruto couldn't help but looked at Hinata beside him. Seeing Naruto's gaze, Hinata immediately lowered his head and blushed. This is the case every time. You never know how much the person who deliberately avoided your gaze likes you. Seeing Hinata's appearance, Naruto couldn't help but echo this sentence in his heart. He couldn't help squeezing the catkin in his hand. When Kakashi, Asuma, Might Guy, and Yurihong were discussing whether to enter the base, 3 people suddenly emerged from the ground. Kakashi's group of people immediately looked like an enemy, staring at the 3 of them fully guarded. Because the leader is Orochimaru. Standing behind Orochimaru were Sasuke and Sakura. Sasuke looked colder than before, looking at Konoha's eyes without the slightest emotion, just like a stranger. This made Shikamaru's companions couldn't help but feel angry. When they tried to recover Sasuke, if it weren't for Naruto, they would have died. But looking at it now, the behavior at that time is simply too unworthy. Thinking about it this way, there is no need for Sakura to bring Konoha back. Everyone saw her standing next to Sasuke happily now, her eyes fixed on Sasuke motionless. It seems that there is only Sasuke in the entire world, and there is no such former companion of them at all. Hehe, Mr. Guy, let's go. Naruto snorted and said to Might Guy. Huh, Might Guy hesitated and looked at Kakashi next to him. The dignified guard in Kakashi's eyes was gradually replaced by sadness, and he couldn't help but think of the former Obito and Lin, and the kunai on his right hand gradually let go weakly. Let's go, Kakashi said in a low voice. HMPH, my place, you can come and leave if you want. Suddenly, Orochimaru's hoarse voice rang. Orochimaru, even if you are one of Sannin, we can still escape together with us. Asuma narrowed his eyes and said to Orochimaru. Orochimaru heard Asuma say this and glanced at him disdainfully. Then try it. With that, Orochimaru's neck stretched more than 10 meters suddenly, and in the blink of an eye he came to Naruto, who was standing on the edge of the crowd, opened his mouth, and bit Naruto's neck fiercely. This scene happened so quickly that everyone hadn't fully reacted to it. No one would have thought that Orochimaru said he wanted to attack, but the primary target was Naruto. But at this moment, something even more unexpected happened. But seeing Naruto, who was bitten by Orochimaru on his neck, his body turned into a high-speed rotating gale. A large number of wind blades slashed towards Orochimaru's disgusting face. Ah! Orochimaru couldn't help screaming. In the blink of an eye, his entire head was completely changed, and it was cut for 78 yuan. Is this the avatar of the wind? Kakashi said with a condensed look. Yeah, Asuma, who is familiar with wind style, said in shock in the same tone. There are many types of clone techniques throughout the ninja world, such as shadow clone, earth clone, water body, and the rare thunder clone, and wood clone of first Hokage. But the wind clone is the first time I have seen it. Naruto is really. At this time, I saw Naruto appear above Orochimaru's long neck. The sky thunder sword in his hand was shining with crackling thunder, and Orochimaru's neck was severely chopped off. Hey, I wanted to cut your neck with a sword, Naruto said with a triumphant smile. Every time I stretch my neck so long, I really thought that no one would cut your neck. After Orochimaru's neck was chopped off, he fell to the ground with no head and body. Sasuke snorted when he saw this, but Sakura's heart jumped wildly. She was really worried. If Orochimaru died, wouldn't she and Sasuke be captured back to Konoha? Just when everyone was surprised that Orochimaru was killed so easily, from his body, a wet Orochimaru appeared again. It's really disgusting, but I like it, Naruto said while looking at the new Orochimaru. Last time, after the female avatar squeezed the scroll of snake ninjutsu from Orochimaru, she also mastered this life-saving method. He decided to wait for the completion of this mission, and also go to contract Raichi Cave, and then master this ninjutsu. You are good at strength, Naruto, did your mother teach you? Orochimaru asked Naruto with interest. Hearing Orochimaru's words, everyone else looked at Naruto in surprise. Because they all know that Naruto has been an orphan since he was a child, how could it be his mother who taught him ninjutsu? Everyone only thought that Orochimaru had gotten wrong information about Naruto, but Kakashi was the only one who looked at Naruto and his eyes flashed thoughtfully. She didn't die. How could it be? But if she really didn't die, then some things seemed to be able to explain clearly. Naruto heard that Orochimaru had a tendency to deliberately divulge his secret information, and his face was calm as usual. No matter how Kakashi observes, he can't find anything strange. But his heart had already started to kill. It seems that Orochimaru's snake skin is itchy again. HMPH. Orochimaru looked at everyone's expressions, with a playful look at the corners of his mouth, and continued to speak. There is a test item missing from my base. Do you know who made it? Naruto-kun. Naruto raised his brow when he heard this, and said in his heart. Oh, no wonder it attacked me, it turned out to be because of this. He thought so in his heart, but his mouth said, I didn't see the test product. I only saw a girl who was covered in wounds and escaped from it. When Naruto said this, he couldn't help but think of the miserable situation on Shongrin's body that he saw just now, and his voice gradually cooled down. Such a disgusting thing, I am afraid that only a beast like Orochimaru can do it. When the people on Konoha heard that this happened before, why didn't Naruto tell them just now? Perhaps, is there really a big secret in Naruto? For example, Orochimaru just mentioned his mother. At this moment, Naruto's secrets seemed to be revealed. What about people? What about animals? How do you understand the truth in this world? Orochimaru said nonchalantly. He seemed to be a little impatient, and then he sealed his hands, and with a bang, a coffin rose from the ground. When everyone saw this, they immediately reacted. This is the forbidden technique used by Orochimaru to kill third generation during the Chunin exam. Kakashi and Asuma glanced at each other, and before the coffin board was opened, they each spewed a fire dragon and a violent wind forward. The wind intensified the fire, and the fire dragon grew rapidly, engulfing the coffin. Then, Kakashi and other members led Shikamaru and others quickly turned around and fled. Want to escape? Orochimaru sneered, bit his finger randomly, stroked his arm, and printed on both hands. Summoning. Boom. A behemoth fell from the sky and hit Kakashi and others. When everyone saw this, they quickly dodged aside. Choji, who was slow, was even injured by the aftermath. After standing still, everyone saw the huge and ferocious snake, and their hearts were suddenly shocked. Such a huge summoning beast is hard to deal with just by looking at it. Both Choji and Ino's legs began to tremble, and Akamaru even got into Inuzuka's clothes and shivered. With such a gap, the lid of the coffin opened, fourth Kazekage walked out of it. The soul of fourth Hokage was sealed in the body of Shinigami after he cast Ghoul Seal back then. Therefore, Orochimaru is currently unable to release fourth Hokage Impure World Reincarnation anyway. In the same way, the souls of first Hokage and second Hokage were also sealed in Shinigami together with the soul of third Hokage during the Chunin exam. It was not until later that Orochimaru found a way to release the sealed souls from Shinigami's body, and then release the souls of the four Hokages. And the soul of third Kazekage, before Orochimaru and Sasori of the Red Sand, contacted Impure World Reincarnation on their own and ascended to heaven, and could no longer be released by Orochimaru Impure World Reincarnation. Now, the Kakashi people looked at fourth Kazekage, who was released by Impure World Reincarnation, and their faces became gloomy. Although not long after the Chunin exam, Tsunagaku discovered the real fourth Kazekage's body and understood the fact that Orochimaru had tricked the entire village. But the pain Orochimaru brought to the two villages was remembered by all the ninjas of Sand Shinobi in Konoha. This is a lot of trouble. Kakashi glanced at Asuma, Might Guy, and Yurihong, and saw the solemn colors in their eyes. Although fourth Kazekage's strength is considered weak in Kage level, he has repeatedly suppressed the runaway one-tail Shuhei. How can his strength be worse? Not to mention, there are huge 10,000 snakes on Orochimaru right now. And what about Konoha's people? Kakashi, Asuma, Elite Jonin. Might Guy is normally the Elite Jonin. Shirahong, seriously injured, counted as the Elite Chunin. Shikamaru, Shino, and Shaoli both have Chunin level strength. Inuzuka, Ino, Choji or Genin. In the case that Might Guy does not open the 8th gate, the two sides seem to be able to do it well. But no matter what, Konoha will definitely have casualties, and today's things will hardly end well. Everyone's faces were awe-inspiring. At this time, Sasuke was standing behind Orochimaru, but his eyes were fiery, and he felt that his choice of Orochimaru was the right choice. Ha, wrong. And many more. What about Naruto and Hinata? Everyone found out that since 10,000 snakes appeared just now, Naruto and Hinata had disappeared. Summoning. Boom. A huge toad wearing a vest suddenly appeared from directly above Wanshi, and reached Wanshi's body with one butt, and the huge short sword in his hand penetrated Wanshi's mouth. One move will destroy 10,000 snakes. Naruto is standing on top of the toad boss. This is not to say that the toad boss is better than the 10,000 snakes, but Naruto was directly above the 10,000 snakes when he used the summoning technique. Wanshi didn't react at all. But don't be too surprised. Anyway, in the original work, one snake seems to be just a trick, except for the black boss in his words. This time I was abused by this one, the next time I was abused by that one, and was finally pulled by Sasuke as a death stand-in. Not as good as the toad boss, with short sword on his body, stylish, and very reliable. Boom. At this time, one snake snorted in pain, and wanted to say a few ruthless words, but couldn't speak, and only disappeared in despair. Orochimaru in the distance. I don't know if I should say it or not. Where's Hinata? Naruto. Yurihong asked with concern when she saw that her student was not there. Send her to a safe place. Naruto replied grinningly, standing on top of Boss Toad. He was worried that the next battle would affect Hinata, so just when 10,000 snakes appeared, he used the Flying Thunder God technique to directly send Hinata to the snow country. Konoha didn't notice him. Even if he saw it, he would only think it was body flicker technique. Who would think about Flying Thunder God? Only Orochimaru understands part of the truth, and when he looks at Naruto, he will say, "Fly. Fly your sisters fly, see if I won't beat you away." Naruto immediately stopped what Orochimaru was about to say next, and with a slap with both hands, dozens of wind blades swiftly cut towards Orochimaru. Then he said to the toad boss at his feet, "Use oil." Upon hearing this, the toad boss opened his mouth as a spray of oil sprayed out. Naruto also finished the seal with both hands, and opened his mouth to spit out a fire dragon covering the entire column of oil. Suddenly, a huge fiery dragon pounced on Orochimaru, as well as Sasuke and Sakura not far away from him. Boom! The huge fire dragon came to Orochimaru in the blink of an eye, covering all of Orochimaru's figure, and even the entire ground nearby was burned to scorched earth. Seeing this, Sasuke hurriedly opened the second stage of the curse seal awakening, his whole body turned dead gray, and there were two-handed wings growing behind him. After the transformation, his strength greatly increased, and his speed was extremely fast, and he immediately used the method of instantaneous body to escape to the distance. Little Sakura stood behind Sasuke and saw that Sasuke was about to flee. She quickly grabbed his wings and escaped fortunately. Even if everyone in Konoha stood in the distance, they could feel the waves of heat hitting their faces, and they couldn't help being shocked by the power of this combination of ninjutsu. When the fire dragon disappeared, a yellow sphere stood in place. The yellow ball burst open and fell to the ground, revealing the intact Orochimaru and fourth cage from Impure World Reincarnation. Obviously, this yellow ball is fourth cage made of ordinary sand. Making sand on ordinary ground is not particularly difficult for fourth cage, but there is less placer gold here. At this moment, Orochimaru looked at Naruto with a smug and evil smile, and asked hoarsely. Naruto-kun, what are you going to do next? Hey, do you think Impure World Reincarnation is awesome, don't you? Naruto sneered. Then I will show you how I played with your Impure World Reincarnation. After Naruto said, with a slap of his hands, a hurricane swept across Orochimaru and fourth cage. Not to be outdone, fourth cage slapped his hands on the ground, the land turned into sand, and countless sands formed a huge wave, and pounced on Naruto on top of the old toad Yamato. Naruto manipulated the hurricane to sweep the sand and waves, as if a sandstorm had occurred, covering the sky. Everyone around is full of sand and ears full of howling wind, invisible and inaudible. The Jonin from Kakashi quickly grabbed Shikamaru and the others, and quickly withdrew to the distance. When they stood on the treetops in the distance and looked at the distant scenes, the sky was darkened, like the end of the day, and their hearts were shocked. Has Naruto grown to this point? This is the voice of everyone in Konoha. In the distance, Sasuke's face was ugly, his teeth clenched, and his Isshin wanted to find the powerful Itachi for revenge, but now he couldn't compare with the old Naruto, and the gap between the two was getting bigger and bigger. At this moment, Orochimaru suddenly appeared beside Sasuke, watching the wind and sand all over the sky with interest. Orochimaru, you have to give me great power, Sasuke said to Orochimaru coldly. Oh, is it the impure world reincarnation I use now? Orochimaru licked his lips and turned to look at Sasuke, his container 3 years later. HMPH, I want to strengthen my own power. Sasuke continued to snort coldly. HMPH, it seems that Sasuke-kun doesn't like my forbidden technique, Orochimaru said with a confident expression on his face. Look at it, Naruto, that kid will fail soon. By the way, you seem to know some secrets of Naruto. Sasuke continued to ask, a hint of curiosity in his eyes. I know the reason for his accomplishment, Orochimaru said triumphantly. Oh, tell me, Sasuke asked eagerly. Even the little Sakura behind him moved forward to listen carefully. When Naruto was in the ninja school, he was a complete crane tail, not comparable to the two of them, but after graduation, his strength improved by leaps and bounds, and he was even able to defeat Sasuke 7 times. It turns out there is a secret reason here. Sasuke and little Sakura are naturally very interested. If they both have this reason, wouldn't they also become stronger? Even stronger. HMPH, Orochimaru saw through the minds of the two people and sneered, because of his mother. What, isn't Naruto an orphan? Sasuke and little Sakura asked curiously. As for Naruto's true identity, Konoha knows very few people now. I'll talk about it in detail when I become interested in it in the future. Orochimaru didn't want to go into details, but said briefly. Back then, his parents died when he was born due to an accident, but he did not expect that his mother did not die, but became stronger. Naruto should have been taught by his mother. Quote, HMPH, one day, I want to know why his mother did not die. I have a feeling that the truth of the world is contained in it. While Orochimaru was talking to Sasuke Sakura, Naruto in the sand was still fighting fourth Kazekage. The wind and sand in the sky blocked Naruto's vision, but he could not hide his perception. He could clearly know the location and actions of fourth Kazekage in the wind and sand. Typhoon. Naruto slowly closed his open arms, and the chaotic sand around the sky was slowly condensing into a sphere. Perceiving this abnormal change, fourth Kazekage wants to open a gap and rush out of the gradually forming sphere. It was discovered that there was a thick wind wall on the edge of the sphere, and the sand was immediately bounced away when it touched, let alone fourth Kazekage itself. Impure World Reincarnation's fourth Kazekage used sand to cover his surroundings to block the attack of the wind blade, while manipulating a large amount of sand to rush towards the wind wall. Unexpectedly, the violent wind around him was even more violent, and all the wind blades attacked him. Slowly, fourth Kazekage found that the surrounding sand was gradually no longer under his control. It turns out that the reason he can manipulate the sand is the combination of earth style and wind style. Now, the wind style chakra he entered in the sand is all broken up by the more powerful Naruto wind style. As a result, the sand gradually dispersed and fell to the ground, and fourth Kazekage lost its greatest support. If this is in the desert of the Kingdom of Wind, he can still manipulate the dust with the help of magnet style. But it doesn't work now, after all, gold is not everywhere. In this way, the wind and sand in the sky gradually dispersed, and the sand sank to the ground, exposing the fourth Kazekage who was stubbornly resisting inside. What's more terrifying is that a sphere that is faintly visible to the naked eye is about to wrap him around, and countless wind blades are slashing him frantically. In the distance, Orochimaru's face was finally hard to look, and he was no longer so confident. Soon, the wind blades in the typhoon ball were highly condensed, and finally fourth Kazekage in the state of impure world reincarnation was chopped into pieces of ashes. Under normal circumstances, these fragments will quickly regroup into fourth Kazekage's body. However, the typhoon ball has been condensed into a sphere of half a meter in diameter, enveloping his body fragments, rolling frantically and disorderly. It's like rolling up broken leaves of dead grass. It is impossible for fourth Kazekage to condense his body anymore. See how I played with your impure world reincarnation. Naruto looked at Orochimaru playfully while throwing the typhoon ball up and down with his right hand, as if playing basketball. Orochimaru's pale face was extremely ugly, and only his cheeks hurt. Just now, he was still bragging with Sasuke about how powerful his impure world reincarnation is, but he didn't expect to be slapped in the face by Naruto now. Naruto-kun, your strength is so powerful that I can hardly imagine. I am afraid that you will soon catch up with your father back then. Orochimaru looked at Naruto coldly and said, but there was a sense of frustration in his heart. He had put a lot of hard work on this forbidden technique, but he didn't expect to be broken one after another. First, Third Hokage destroyed his two powerful impure world reincarnation puppets at the cost of his life. Now, Naruto has used an alternative way to make his impure world reincarnation puppet useless. What should I do next? For Orochimaru, the non-cage level powerhouse, he disdains impure world reincarnation, and he has not collected the remaining cage level powerhouse corpses. Unless, like Yakushi Kabuto in the original book, let White Zetsu help to collect it. But so far, Orochimaru is pitiful and only 4th cage is available as an impure world reincarnation puppet. This was broken by Naruto. At this time, Orochimaru's long and narrow snake-like eyes stared at Naruto coldly in the air for a while, and finally could only let go of helplessly in his heart. Orochimaru, who was getting older, began to play truth skills with technical content like impure world reincarnation and immortal skills such as living corpse reincarnation. Except for the best Muji ninjutsu, such as crane neck biting and shulker snake hand, rarely use ninjutsu and physique to fight like they did when they were young. HMPH, Orochimaru laughed again, but Naruto seemed to hear a little helplessness in it. Naruto-kun, I believe we will see you again in 3 years. After Orochimaru finished speaking, he took Sasuke and Sakura into the ground gradually and disappeared. Before he left, Sasuke had been staring at Naruto, the meaning in his eyes was also very obvious. Naruto, in 3 years, I will beat you. Naruto in the distance raised his eyebrows when he saw this. Ha ha, Orochimaru took over Sasuke's body after waiting for 3 years and possessed Sharingan's power. Doesn't his Naruto need 3 years of growth? Such as Shanwa body, such as 8 inner gates, such as those geniuses in Shuenin village. Boom. The Toad boss also disappeared and returned to Mount Myoboku. Naruto slowly descended from the air to the ground. Kakashi, Might Guy, and Asuma ran over and looked at the retreating Orochimaru, feeling a sense of absurdity in their hearts. Does Naruto force Orochimaru, one of Sannin, to retreat? Everyone couldn't help but think so. There was a trace of awe in the eyes of Naruto again. Kakashi felt regret in his heart. I knew why it was so. Shikamaru's classmates also felt uneasy. How long has it been since graduation? How come Naruto is like a chicken blood? Is this still the tale of the crane they know? Only Might Guy looked at Naruto and his eyes were full of admiration. Naruto's strength became stronger, and he really blessed him. It can be seen from Naruto's painstaking practice of body arts that Naruto is a ninja with a strong will, just like his lover, Xiao Li. It is not surprising that he can have the current grades, because this is the miracle of youth. This mission ended in failure and was doomed from the beginning. Little Sakura is absolutely unwilling to return to Konoha. Even if she comes back by force, it is difficult to guarantee that she will not defect again. Her heart is no longer in Konoha. On the way back to Konoha, everyone was silent and depressed. I'll take a step first. After I connect Hinata, I will have to practice when I go back. After Naruto said to Might Guy, he flew into the air and disappeared into the sky. He first returned to Schwerin village and saw that it was still under construction, so he took Hinata to find a quiet place with beautiful scenery and began to practice. It was not until 2 days later that he and Hinata appeared outside Konoha village, returned to the village from the main entrance, and continued to practice. Tsunade received the mission summary report from Kakashi, not only was angry with his disciple Sakura, but also clearly learned about Naruto's strength. She had to reconsider her attitude and arrangement towards Naruto. After all, she could no longer regard Naruto as a kid who had just graduated. The strength of the 12-year-old elite Jonin. In the peaceful age, it is too heaven-defying to have such strength. The last one should be Uchiha Itachi. However, Uchiha Itachi was born at the end of the 3 world wars, and he also possesses the limits of Sharingan blood succession and even open Mangekyo. However, Naruto itself does not have an excellent blood succession limit, nor the ability to use 9 tails. So, Tsunade decided to perform this mission honestly, what she promised Naruto, no more assignments for Naruto in a short time. But this is not the case for Hinata. As genin, it is normal for her to follow orders to perform tasks, and she also needs to experience through tasks. 3 days later, Hinata, Aburame Shino and Inuzukaga went to the country of birds for a mission, while Yuhihong was still in convalescence due to his injuries. After Naruto heard what the mission client told him, he knew that the mission Hinata was going to perform was the cursed samurai, who made a fool of himself. The enemy is a group of wandering ninjas, still a little bit strong. Naruto worried that Hinata might have an accident, so he brought out Katsuyu summoning from the wet bone forest. "Hello Naruto-kun, Tsunade has already told me about your situation." After a little Katsuyu appeared, he spoke sweetly and politely as always, as if he were a hotel waiter. "What do you need me to do now?" "She now needs to go far away to perform tasks. If anything happens to her, I hope to be able to notify me in time." Naruto pointed to Hinata next to him and said to Katsuyu, "Can." Little Katsuyu nodded, and then his body split into 2, becoming 2 smaller Katsuyu. One stood on Naruto's shoulder, and the other stood on Hinata's shoulder. Since all Katsuyu are separated from one body, when Hinata is in danger, the Katsuyu on her shoulder will dissipate. At the same time, Katsuyu, who is standing on Naruto's shoulder, will receive this message so that Naruto can know that Hinata is in danger. Then, with the flying thunder god imprint left on Hinata, he can come to her in an instant and come to save my daughter-in-law by 1,000 miles. After Hinata left, Naruto continued to train hard in the Konoha village training ground. 50 shadow clones are still used to practice the various escape techniques of fire, earth, thunder and water, and the body performs physical exercises. With the ninjutsu talent granted by Sage Body of the Senju clan, his masters B, C, and D level escape skills are almost all masters reaching the level of proficient. As for the several A-level escape techniques, all masters have reached the level of Shaocheng. As long as he has mastered all the escape techniques to proficient and then has enough system points, he can exchange Sage Body to replace the 2 Sage Body. At the same time, use system points to upgrade all escape techniques to the level of supernatural transformation to synthesize Vulcan Body, Thunder God Body, Earth God Body, and Water God Body. At that time, coupled with the power of Shanshu Chakra, he will become the most powerful Faith King in the ninja world. Any evasion technique can be glued easily, but the enemy's evasion technique completely loses its effect in front of him. Looking forward to this, Naruto's motivation to cultivate is even greater. Until 10 days later, the little Katsuyu on his shoulder suddenly said to him, "Naruto-kun, the Katsuyu from Hinata has disappeared." Naruto was shocked, knowing that Hinata was in danger, so he cancelled the shadow clone he was cultivating and also cancelled Katsuyu's summoning. Then his body shape flashed and disappeared in place. When he came to Hinata instantly with the Flying Thunder God technique, he saw an old monk spit out a fire dragon, spraying it at Hinata and the Inuzukaga and Shino beside him. This old monk is actually the leader of a wandering ninja. A few years ago, he turned into a Taoist monk, used illusions to deceive the boss's name, and then became a senior official in the country of birds. Later, the eldest man and his son were poisoned, and now he wants to kill the new daimyo, dove occupying the magpie's nest. In Naruto's memory, this is probably the case in the bird country. I don't remember the details, and there is no need to go into it. He only knew that now his daughter-in-law was in danger and he wanted to kill the enemy. It's that simple. Seeing that the old monk made a fierce move, he was about to kill Hinata when he vomited the fire dragon. Naruto yelled, "I'm looking for death." Then, he waved forward and saw a blue wind wall blocking himself and Hinata. Although the fire defeated the wind, before the absolutely powerful wind wall, the fire dragon slammed into the wind wall and quickly dissipated. When the old monk saw the sudden appearance of Naruto, his heart burst, and he saw that the fire dragon was blocked, and hurriedly withdrew back. Then grabbed the name of the bird country, hid in the room, and disappeared through the secret passage. But at the same time, dozens of masked ninjas suddenly appeared around them, all wandering ninjas under the old monk, and the 4 Naruto were besieged from all directions. There is also a white-haired, captain-level dragon trap, standing on the roof, looking at the surrounded Naruto triumphantly and grinning wildly. Why is there another kid to die? Naruto squinted at the opponent, and in the next second, the wind wall quickly expanded to the surroundings. All the wandering ninjas around that touched the wind wall were all bounced off and fell to the ground. The white-haired dragon set standing on the roof was shocked when he saw this expression. He was about to get up and jump back, only to find that his shoulder was suddenly held down. A calm voice sounded from behind. Please, don't call me a kid in the future, okay? How about playing poker? Or call me the king? This voice is very familiar, isn't it the kid he despised just now? He subconsciously looked into the wind wall and saw that the little ghost was still inside, waved his hand and showed a sneer. Why two little ghosts? The white-haired dragon was puzzled and blurted out, Shadow clone. What a fast speed. Pouch. Tianlei's sword cut off the opponent's head easily. Naruto avoided the splattering blood and looked at the wandering ninjas who were getting up and fleeing around him. A fiery thunder light burst out from the Sky Thunder sword. He grabbed the Sky Thunder sword and waved it around, and the crackling thunder and lightning killed all the wandering ninjas who fled and were seriously injured and unconscious. Ding dong. Congratulations to host for killing 1 Chunin and 30 Genin, and earning 40 points in total. Naruto-kun, thank you. The wind wall dissipated, and Hinata walked to Naruto, grabbed the corner of Naruto's clothes, and said blushing. Not far away, Shino put his hands in Kabuto and nodded coolly to Naruto to show his gratitude. Inazukaya gritted his teeth and snorted unwillingly, but he refused to admit it. Let's go, let's catch the culprit, and this task can be over. Naruto grabbed Hinata's little hand and said to Shino and Inazukaga. The old monk captured the daimyo and was about to flee in a boat proudly. He didn't expect a hurricane to fall from the sky and hit him directly. Seeing this, the old monk immediately grabbed the daimyo beside him to avoid him. He just landed on the water, only to find that his head had just been flying, but his body was still standing in place. What's the matter? The old monk finally thought before his consciousness completely dissipated. Puff! The headless corpse of the old monk fell on the water and sank into the water and disappeared. 2 seconds later, his head thumped and fell into the water, splashing a wave of spray. Next, it was the happy reunion moment. Naruto was not interested, took Hinata to the sky, and then took the opportunity to return directly to Konoha village. But this time after returning to Konoha village, Might Guy found Naruto, and he was going to pass on the 8 inner gates to Naruto. Since Naruto graduated from Might Guy, he began to learn physical skills and physical exercises. Now his physical fitness has improved a lot. There are the results of his perseverance and hard work, and the reason why he has both Uzumaki clan sage body and Senju clan sage body at the same time. With these two sage body, Naruto's physical fitness has improved by leaps and bounds after a series of exercises. From Might Guy's point of view, it is possible to practice 8 inner gates and open the second gate. Everyone's body has an 8 gate that restrains their chakra, but very few people know how to use 8 inner gates. Why is it that everyone has 8 door but it is not used by others? The key reason is that the premise of using 8 inner gates is supernormal, overloaded, and long-term training beyond the limit. Only in this way can the various parts and organs of the body be exercised to adapt to the load they bear after opening, and to minimize the damage to the body caused by the huge energy after opening. Forced opening is not acceptable. For example, Kakashi can also use 8 inner gates after a series of assiduous practice. The characteristic when launching 8 inner gates is faster and stronger. First, fast. The importance of speed in combat is self-evident, and fighting the enemy first is especially important for ninjas with physical skills. The 8 inner gates overloads the energy in the body and releases it uncontrollably, and its speed will also be greatly increased. For example, in the Chunin exam, when Lee opened the 4th wound door, he was so fast that he couldn't catch his movements with the naked eye, and he could not move Gaara directly. Second, strong. Power directly occupies a major position in physical combat. When using 8 inner gates, the energy in the body will be released uncontrollably, and at the same time the strength will be greatly increased. For example, in the fight between Guy and Hoshigaki Kisame, when the 7th gate was opened, he used the physical technique, Day Tiger, which used ultra-high-speed punches to hit the air to form extremely high air pressure and then compressed into a tiger shape. A large-scale shock wave is generated after attacking the enemy. He also severely injured Hoshigaki Kisame, known as the Tailless Beast. Therefore, 8 Inner Gates is something Naruto must learn. In particular, his Mangekyo Sharingan ability allows him to return to his normal state after opening the 8th gate. In this way, he avoided the biggest side effect of opening the 8th gate. This is an important reason why Naruto has worked so hard to follow Might Guy and Xiao Li for physical exercise. Naruto, before teaching you 8 Inner Gates, I have to tell you 2 things, which is what my father told me at the time. Might Guy looked at Naruto in front of him, rare, with a serious expression. His father is Might Guy, a great hero. First of all, what I have already told you, self-restraint. Naruto nodded, his expression serious. The so-called self-restraint refers to deliberately putting a shackle on oneself when challenging certain difficulties, pushing oneself to the end, and formulating rules that belong only to oneself in advance. It is precisely because of the shackles that you will face the challenge seriously, and once you fail, you will be able to practice the rules to get yourself rigorously exercised and make yourself continuous improvement. This is self-restraint. It is also the reason why Might Guy and Might Guy can become peerless powerhouses. This is what Naruto has always insisted on. The second point, 8 Inner Gates must not be used against companions. Seeing Might Guy's seriousness, Naruto also nodded solemnly and agreed. But in his heart he was thinking, my companion. My haha. Chapter 71. After finally learning 8 Inner Gates, Naruto began to enjoy the pleasure of opening a gate and a second gate. The first door, open the door. Lifting the brain domain limit. In order to achieve the purpose of exerting 100% of the body's ability, overloading the body to consume energy to improve attack and speed. The second gate, stop the gate. Relieve the physical fatigue limit, squeeze the body energy with overload to restore physical strength, and offset the fatigue caused by the energy consumption rate of opening the door. Naruto, who opened the second gate, felt that he would not be tired after running 100 laps around Konoha village. Of course, this is just an illusion. The real situation is that his speed and strength have doubled, and he can maintain it within 10 minutes, and he will not feel tired when attacking with all his strength. Of course, this is explosive ability, and there will be side effects of body soreness afterwards. However, after opening the second gate, it is already a good explosive technique for a ninja who can be born and died within a second. Another master's new skill made Naruto feel a little itchy, thinking about finding an enemy to fight to death. Unfortunately, Might Guy and Xiao Li left the village the next day. However, the Hinata team has to perform the mission again, and the destination is the Shinyan village in the Bear Country. The establishment of this Shinyan village was entirely due to the previous meteorite landing. A certain ninja picked up this meteorite and found that he could absorb the power of the meteorite to practice. Later, this person established Shinyan village and became the first-generation village head, but he claimed to be Shinyan. In fact, only the heads of the 5 ninja villages can be called shadows, but the ninja fans of Shinyan village are confident that Shinyan village can become the 6th largest ninja village by relying on star meteorites. As a result, the village head proclaimed himself a shadow in advance. But year after year, generation after generation, until the death of the 3rd generation star, their village's dream was not realized. Looking at the information about Hoshiyuki village in their hands, Naruto, Hinata, Shino, and Inuzukaga felt amused. Ha, dreams are still needed, what if they come true? Naruto said sarcastically. However, he didn't think so in his heart. Star meteorite, I don't know what effect it has on my sage body, what about sage body? At the moment the mission started, Naruto decided to snatch the meteorite and take it back for a trial. Originally, there was no arrangement of Naruto for this mission, just the Hinata 3-person team, but because Naruto had an ulterior purpose, he followed. In order to save time, Naruto took the 3 of Hinata directly to Shinyan village. Shinyan village is surrounded by gorges full of poisons, which is easy to defend and difficult to attack. Perhaps this has also developed their Ylang arrogant character. However, for the current Naruto, farts are useless. The 4 of them landed at a place agreed in advance, exactly on the edge of the poison canyon. Soon, a teenager wearing a gas mask appeared in the opposite gorge and relied on the temporarily erected rope to come to Naruto. This boy is named Aang, is the most talented genin in Xingyan village, and Naruto also knows another level of his identity. Soon, the four Naruto followed Aang to the acting star Shadow, Aka Star. Naruto perfunctorily tried to think about the secrets here. Although the star meteorite has created many star-hidden village ninjas, its side effects are also great. It is likely to contain radioactive materials and cause continuous damage to the human body. As the age of the milder gradually increased, the body reached its limit and died. In the early stages of cultivation, the severe ones will soon become weak and unable to bear it and die. Therefore, back then, Aang's parents secretly stole star and meteorites in order to avoid so many children who died in the village. But it was intercepted by third-generation Star Shadow. However, the third-generation Star Shadow agreed with them and promised to spare their lives, take back the star meteorite, and ask them to guard the star-hidden village outside. If Xingyan village uses star meteorites for cultivation again in the future, the couple will be able to steal the star meteorites directly. Not long ago, the third-generation Star Shadow suddenly died and the new Red Star, who was an ambitionist, started using star meteorites to increase his power again. Seeing this, Aang's mother prepared to steal the star and meteorite according to the plan of the year. In order to elicit Aang's mother, the principal of this mission, Akahoshi, hired Konoha shinobi to help guard the meteorite. When the four Naruto chatted with the agent Xing Ying Kai Xing, Aang's mother broke into the training grounds smoothly and took the Xing meteorite. After learning the news, Akahoshi's expression changed, and the four Naruto followed him. But only to see Aang's mother wearing a gas mask on the edge of the canyon. The peacock trick. Aang's mother gave a low cry, her hands knotted, and a huge monster made up of chakra came out on her back, which hit Naruto head on. This weird chakra is as substantial as it can produce huge impacts, can become beasts, storms, ropes, and even wings. Especially for Aang's mother, the purple chakra is more full-bodied and powerful, and should be at the level of Jonin. Open the door, open. Shut the door, open. At this time, facing an enemy who was slightly on the table, Naruto was delighted by the hunt and directly opened the 8 inner gates that he had just learned. The power of Peacock magic method is not small, but its shortcomings are also obvious, that is, the flexibility of the surgeon's body. Because when manipulating the chakra monster, the body cannot move while standing still. After turning on the 8 inner gates, Naruto's speed doubled, coupled with the original wind instant, now his figure is almost impossible to capture. Although Aang's mother reacted in time and prepared to defend with the purple chakra monster, it was still a little slower. She was slapped in the chest by Naruto, and her body was knocked off the cliff. Then she turned her chakra into wings and fled to the distance. Hinata glanced at Naruto, wondering why Naruto didn't directly kill the enemy as before, and did not pursue him. Akastar not far away looked at him with a shock. He felt that hiring Konoha shinobi was the biggest mistake he made. The so-called enemy was repelled, and everyone returned to Xingyan village again. Knowing Aang's motherhood, Kai Xing wanted to use Aang Lai to threaten him and return the Xing meteorite, so he planned a scene. In this regard, Naruto does not care. He was alone in the guest room, leaving behind a shadow clone, his figure flashed, and he disappeared in place. In the next second, he appeared in an underground hole. At this time, Aang's mother had removed her disguise, bent down and concentrated on cooking, absolutely never expecting an enemy to appear silently in such a secret hole. It was absolutely unexpected that in the previous battle, when Naruto slapped her, he also left a mark of flying thunder god on it. Pouch. Aang's beautiful mother fell to the ground without leaving a last word to the child. Naruto felt that because of the power of cultivating stars and meteorites, the opponent was already dying soon, so it's better to die early and resurrect. Then, Naruto opened a coffin next to him, took out the stellar meteorite full of temptation, sealed it with talisman paper, and stored it in the storage scroll. After thinking about it, Akahiro was still worried that Naruto's strength might be too strong, which might undermine his plan and expose his true colors, so he hurriedly ended his employment and sent away the four Naruto politely. Hinata's faces were foggy, and only Naruto was happy to bloom in their hearts. After returning to Konoha, Naruto took out the star meteorite and experimented repeatedly. He can clearly perceive that a certain substance inside will make his chakra more active, and he can also change the form of his chakra. Unexpectedly, Sage body will also be affected by this star meteorite. I just don't know what will happen to the immortal body. Will it affect the absorption of natural energy? Naruto thought this way, and took back the star meteorite. In his intuition, it was a stone that would have unexpected effects. After all, they are meteorites from outside the sky, just like the Otsutsuki clan, they all come from the outer space of this world, full of mystery. One day, I am going to see what this universe is like. Will there be an Earth too? Then I can go back. Naruto looked up at the sky, his thoughts drifting away. And while Naruto was experimenting with a meteorite, Tsunade, who was sitting in Hokage's office, raised his mouth and looked at Hinata's mission report triumphantly. The difficulty of Hinata's 2 missions reached level B. If it weren't for Naruto's help, the Hinata squad would likely fail and even suffer casualties. But because of Hinata's existence, Naruto, who didn't want to do the task, also participated. Tsunade felt that Naruto was hit by his own plot, and he couldn't help but feel triumphant. As everyone knows, the mission of Shingyan village that just ended was not only what Naruto wanted to do, but also brought him a great gift. Now, another new mission has been sent to Tsunade. Mrs. Ko in the land of honey suddenly disappeared on the way back to her natal family to visit relatives. Therefore, the daimyo of the land of honey entrusted Konoha village to send a ninja to search for his wife. Tsunade feels that this task is likely to be a hostile ninja, so he plans to hand it over to Hinata to complete it. No, it should be accurate to say that it is done indirectly by Naruto. Looking at the cute Hinata in front of him, Tsunade felt that if Hinata was there, Naruto's heart would definitely stay in Konoha village and would always contribute to Konoha village. This is the power of fetters. Ha ha. As everyone knows, the well-behaved Hinata in front of him already knows many of Naruto's shocking secrets, but no one has told them. When Naruto, who was far away in the training ground, felt that Hinata had left Hokage's office again, he couldn't help but sighed. The girl Tsunade really held his lifeblood. However, this time Hinata did not come to say goodbye to him. Instead, he went directly to the gate with Inuzukaga and Shino, and was about to leave Konoha village. When Naruto sensed this, he was a little surprised and had to take the initiative to find Hinata, fell from the sky to stop her, and asked, "Hinata, where are you going?" "Naruto-kun, me," Hinata blushed and lowered her head, her hands and fingers twisted together, a little nervous and hurried. "Hinata doesn't want to bother you anymore and delay your cultivation, so I decided to go directly to the task." Inuzuka's mouth is a big mouth, and said, "Naruto, you really got lucky and met such a nice girl like Hinata. Haha, are you envious? Find one by yourself, or you can only be a single dog for a lifetime. Hey, no, you have Akamaru, you can be a twin dog." Naruto grinned and said to Inuzukaga, then stepped forward and raised Hinata's little hand, and looked at him helplessly. "If something happens to you, I will also be upset." Hinata flushed her cheeks when she heard the words, and her whole body swayed, feeling almost unsteady on her feet. Shino on the side turned around when he saw this, and saw that Inuzukaga was still standing there without a wink. He calmly said to him, "Yeah, do you want dog food?" "What do you mean? Why do I have to fight with Akamaru for food?" Inuzukaga asked unclearly. "Wow!" Akamaru in his arms yelled twice, and he suddenly realized that he wrinkled his mouth and walked forward. This time, Naruto took Hinata and the three, flight, over. Only an hour later, the 4 of them landed in the place where Madame Kade disappeared, and found an ancient castle nearby. The 3 of Hinata were about to go in to find out, but they were pulled by Naruto. "Hinata, use Byakugan to see what the castle is in front of you." Byakugan, open. Hinata looked at the castle intently, and couldn't help exclaiming. This castle is probably a living thing. It has a complete chakra meridian in its body, and a flowing chakra. What, is it some kind of cannibalism? Inuzukaga asked in confusion, looking at Akamaru again. She was already shrunk in her arms and dared not say anything. "It should be the summoning beast. There is a similar existence in my toad summoning beast," Naruto explained to several people, and then ordered. "So, it's good to let Hinata and I go in this time. You guys will support you outside." "Okay." Shino nodded and agreed, holding Inuzukaga who still wanted to say something. Naruto comfortably pulled Hinata into this castle, and admired the classical decoration inside. In fact, his 3-tomo Sharingan has been opened, observing the mystery inside. Hinata, find its contract scroll. Yeah, Hinata nodded, and Byakugan swept away, and immediately saw a simple scroll beside the shrine on the second floor. At this moment, the summoning beast seemed to be aware of Naruto's plan, and the surrounding scenes immediately returned to real flesh and blood. The flesh and blood on the ground squirmed, trying to sink Naruto and Hinata's feet. Seeing this, Naruto immediately picked up Hinata and floated in midair. Immediately afterwards, a large number of fleshy tentacles waved to the two from all directions. Seeing that they were about to be tied up, a blue wind wall appeared around Naruto and Hinata, blocking all the tentacles, and quickly flew to the second floor with them. Patter. The contract scroll was taken by Naruto, and then passed it to Hinata next to him. Hinata, bite your finger and write your name in it. Hinata was shocked, but not hypocritical, and immediately followed Naruto's words and bit her finger. The summoning beast became furious, and all the flesh and blood around it squeezed forcefully against the two Naruto. Naruto chuckled and said, "You must have never read Journey to the West, otherwise you would not eat monkeys in your stomach at will." Ha ha. As soon as the voice fell, the wind wall around his body quickly expanded outward and spun at high speed. At the same time, a series of wind blades whizzed out from the wind wall, cutting the vague erosion of the surrounding flesh and blood, and a pungent bloody smell pours into the nose. 3 seconds later, Hinata finally signed the contract, and the surrounding flesh and blood disappeared with a bang. Naruto and Hinata also appeared directly outside. There is also the missing Mrs. Kade and his party. This task was successfully completed. Hinata handed the scroll in his hand to Naruto, but was pushed back by Naruto and asked softly, "This is a gift for you, do you like it?" Hinata. Yeah, Hinata was not hypocritical, and happily put it away, because Naruto had already told her that he didn't like people who whined. With this powerful illusion-type summoning beast, you can increase your combat power a lot. With that, Naruto gently pulled Hinata into his arms. Well, thank you Naruto-kun. Hinata wanted to break free, but found that she was already weak, as if she had been drugged. Seeing this, Shino not far away turned calmly and asked Inazukaya beside him, "Ma, do you still have dog food? Let me have some." While Naruto and Hinata were enjoying the sweetness of love, they were far away in a secret base in the other party. Little Sakura also looked sweetly at Sasuke practicing ninjutsu. Master has no idea how many ninjutsu Orochimaru can be called, Dr. Ninjutsu, at least not weaker than 3rd Hokage. Now Orochimaru is here to instruct Sasuke. It is really a high end, so that Sasuke's strength has progressed rapidly, and at the same time, it is helping him to further develop Chidori. Presumably Sasuke-kun can surpass Naruto soon, and seek revenge on his brother Itachi. Little Sakura thought so in her heart, and then recalled the scene of secretly meeting with the Root Ninja 3 days ago. Then, I can't let Danzo know the real situation here. To disturb Sasuke, I must direct his eyes to other places. So, I can only be sorry for you, Naruto. Little Sakura thought about what happened 3 days ago, feeling a trace of guilt in her heart, and then firmly said, "Also, I must detoxify the poison I had previously been in my body as soon as possible." Little Sakura was referring to the poison of root traits that Sai gave her. Fortunately, for the sake of convenience, Master Tsunade gave me all the medical ninjutsu scrolls. I have already remembered all of them. I only need to exercise the master slowly. Furthermore, Orochimaru is also the Grand Master in various experiments and can get a lot of help from him. Just as little Sakura was thinking in a daze on the side, she didn't notice at all. Orochimaru, who was instructing Sasuke's practice in the distance, glanced at her squintly, with an unclear look in her eyes. The reason Naruto prepared this summoning beast for Hinata is that he will soon follow Jiraiya to practice. Next, I'm afraid I won't be able to help Hinata perform tasks every time. So, there is a summoning beast to help Hinata, and Naruto can also feel a little more relieved. Oh, with Naruto here, we always seem to be doing nothing. Inazukage sighed and said in a strange tone. Is this bad? I think it would be nice to be able to complete the task smoothly. Aburame Shino pushed his sunglasses and said calmly. But, there is no combat mission. What is the difference from those D-level missions of weeding and picking up garbage? Inazuka's tone was dissatisfied. Haha, Don't worry, you are about to fight soon. At this moment, Naruto said suddenly, his tone full of playfulness. Really, where did the enemy come from? Inuzukaga asked a little excitedly. Immediately, his nose twitched, and Akamaru in his arms also barked twice. There are 6 enemies who are coming quickly. Inuzukaga whispered and quickly said. Well, and the strength is not low. Shino looked at the insect in his hand and said in a deep voice. Just right, Hinata, didn't you just get this summoning beast? Let our enemies try it. Naruto grinned and winked at Hinata. Also, you have to change your attack method. In the distant forest, 6 ninjas dressed in black, in a marching assault formation, rushed to here quickly, and they looked like well-trained ninjas. The tall ninja headed, gestured to the 5 team members behind him. Make one final confirmation, snatch the sword, and test the true strength of Uzumaki Naruto. Remember, you can't kill him. You can't kill him. At the same time, in a secret base in Konoha village, Danzo took the intelligence in his hand and looked at it again, and asked the ninja who was kneeling in front of him. Is it certain that the information is true? But where did the powerful sword in Uzumaki Naruto's hand come from? Why has his strength improved so much in the short time since his graduation? The kneeling root ninja replied in a deep voice after hearing this. Although this is information from Haruno Sakura who is next to Orochimaru, we have verified it many times in other places. Hey, it seems that our Jinchuriki has a big secret. Danzo smiled sullenly. I think of the red-haired, masked female ninja who caused 2 bombings when he just graduated. Maybe, the two have always been in contact. Talking to himself up to this point, Danzo stared at the root ninja in front of him again. The mission that Hinata and Naruto are going to perform, but I managed to make it easy for Tsunade to see that the man we sent has already set off in advance, and should be able to arrive shortly after Naruto flew there. Konoha's Jinchuriki must be absolutely master in Konoha's hands. If there is any instability, it should be dealt with as soon as possible. After they come back, tell me the true strength of Uzumaki Naruto that I have tested. After speaking the last sentence, Danzo's body disappeared into the shadows. When the 6 root ninjas with hidden identities rushed over based on intelligence, they also immediately discovered the existence of the castle. They waited outside the castle for 2 hours and did not see Naruto leave. Are you sure Naruto is in the castle? The headed tall root ninja asked. Behind him, another ninja quickly replied. Yes, there are 3 of his companions, they are all in the castle at the moment. The tall ninja thought for a while, then looked up at the sky. The task Danzo gave him was to fight against Naruto, so that he could test Naruto's true strength and seize the opportunity to capture the Thunder Sword. But now that Naruto hasn't come out yet, I'm afraid I'm going to spend the night in it, but they must act as soon as possible, otherwise the time will be too long and there will be too many variables. Let's go in. The tall ninja gestured to the other 5 companions, and then separated 3 of them to follow him in. The other 2 ninjas stayed outside. After entering the castle hall, the tall ninja made a gesture from his opponent, and the 4 immediately dispersed and began to search for Naruto's figure. Soon, the tall ninja saw Hinata in a wide room similar to a practice room. Hinata had already set up the posture of gentle fist, and with a flash of his body, he came to the tall ninja. The tall ninja looked calm, took out a short sword, and slashed towards Hinata. The speed is fast and cruel. If Hinata is cut, he will be severely injured if he is not dead. A hint of surprise flashed across the tall ninja's face, and the Hinata in front of him disappeared in an instant and appeared behind him. The tall ninja quickly turned around and slapped Hinata behind him again. His reaction speed was not unpleasant. But Hinata actually avoided again. Her instantaneous speed is very fast. The tall ninja analyzed in his heart. You know, he is an elite Jonin, especially good at swordsmanship. I didn't expect this genin female doll of the Hyuga clan to have such a fast body technique, able to avoid his 2 attacks in time. The tall ninja once again severely slashed Hinata beside him. However, just when the tall ninja was about to hit Hinata, a warning bell suddenly rang in his heart, and he immediately used the body replacement technique and left the place. Looking back, Hinata didn't stand behind him just now. Could it be that this is the unique physique when using gentle fist? The tall ninja frowned and thought, and immediately reacted. No, this is an illusion. The Hinata I attacked just now is not a real body, but an illusion. No wonder the opponent disappears every time I am about to attack the opponent. Illusion, solution. After the tall ninja discovered the truth, he immediately solved the illusion, but he was stunned in the next second. Because the feet and surroundings are all wriggling flesh and blood. Ah, this. Where is this? The tall ninja was surprised. But at the same time, the flesh and blood under his feet squirmed to swallow him, and the tall ninja immediately pulled out his feet and jumped up. But at this moment, a figure appeared behind him. This is the moment waiting. Ha ha. The tall ninja looked calm, his body twisted quickly, and he slashed at Hinata behind him with a stab he had prepared. Ha! Hinata disappeared again. Still an illusion. How could it be possible? I have already solved the illusion. At this time, the tall ninja only felt severe pain in his chest, and breathing became difficult. He fixed his eyes, and saw Hinata's thin figure unexpectedly appeared in front of him, with his fingers stretched out, and he clicked on his chest very quickly. But the key is that each other's palm is tied with a handful of kunai. Hinata is hitting a tall ninja in the same way as Gentle Fist, and he can hit 10 punches in 1 second. But in fact, he used kunai to penetrate the tall ninja's chest 10 times in 1 second. This is what Naruto just said, a new way to change the way Hinata attacks. He has been thinking, Gentle Fist is so fast, it can hit so many palms on the enemy, why not attack the enemy with a knife or kunai? Wouldn't it be possible to insert countless holes in that way? Just when the tall ninja was full of disbelief and was about to die, Naruto appeared beside him and snatched his head with the Sky Thunder sword. Ding dong. Congratulations to host for killing one of Jonin and earn 100 points. In this way, with the powerful illusion of summoning Mon and the new Gentle Fist, Hinata killed an elite root ninja. The same goes for Inuzukaga and Shino on the other side. The enemy can't find out where their body is at all. Instead, they have to face virtual attacks and surprise attacks. Their own attacks could not defeat Inuzukaga and Shino, but Inuzukaga's Yatongya and Shino's bugs could sneak into them. In this way, the 2 root ninjas also died. The last remaining root ninja was killed instantly after being approached by Naruto. As for the last 2 root ninjas who stayed outside the castle, they were quickly solved by Naruto. At this point, the 6 root ninjas sent by Danzo to perform the task were wiped out. The summoning beast that Hinata has just acquired is showing its prestige. Originally, Naruto didn't know the identity of the 6 root ninjas. However, when he checked the tongue curse marks on the corpses of the 6 people, he immediately understood. Danzo. Naruto cursed secretly, and immediately understood that the other party might be worried about his killing the root ninjas like Sai before. But so what? Don't keep giving me heads. Naruto sneered in his heart, and when the time came, he would definitely teach the other party a deep lesson. Naruto can never think of it now, and the key to all of this is related to the little Sakura. The next morning, Naruto and the others returned to Konoha village. They were in the Hokage office. When they were called by Tsunade to report on the mission, they did not expect that the accidents happened one after another. No, it was an accident for Konoha, and a surprise for Naruto. Boom! A thunderbolt on the sunny day. As soon as lightning hit the Hokage building, it caused a fire. Everyone immediately ran out of the Hokage building to check. They thought it was an enemy attack, but after a quick investigation by Anbu, they didn't expect it to be done by Kurama Yakumo. Kurama Yakumo is a genius of the Kurama clan, or it can be said to be awakened. The Kurama clan was once the most prosperous family in Konoha village, and is well known for its grandmaster illusion. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, it has declined, and even a Jonin cannot be cultivated. But every few generations of the Pommel Horse clan will have a awakened born with a powerful talent to control the 5 senses illusion. Kurama Yakumo is the awakened of this generation. She was placed high hopes by the whole family since she was a child, and she was regarded as the star of hope for the Pommel Horse clan, which put a lot of pressure on her. However, Kurama Yakumo's physique was so weak that he could not practice for a long time, and could not even go to the ninja school, so her parents invited Yurihong to be her tutor. After Yurihong came into contact with her, she was also worried about her physical condition and persuaded her to give up the goal of becoming a ninja and live a normal life. Her parents did not want her to make her health worse due to excessive efforts, so they agreed with Hong's approach. But Kurama Yakumo planted resentment because of this, and a spiritual monster of desire and revenge grew in his heart. Finally one day, after asking his parents again to become a ninja and failing, the psychic monster in Kurama Yakumo broke free from the shackles and burned down the house at home. Kurama Yakumo's parents were also buried in the flames. But because of the brain's self-protection mechanism, she completely forgot this history. She even mistakenly believed that third Hokage, who was in office at the time, sent someone to assassinate her parents and also assassinated herself. Due to the terrible abilities of Kurama Yakumo, she was isolated by Konoha in Satomioka Mountain Villa. As Yakumo's instructor, Yurihong often went to visit Yakumo, but she was treated more and more coldly. Today, without watching Kurama Yakumo for a while, the opponent took the opportunity to send a thunderbolt to the Hokage building. Tsunade called Yurihong angrily, and asked her to deal with Kurama Yakumo's problem again, as if she still wanted to make an effort to get rid of the opponent's psychic monster. When Naruto saw this, the corners of his mouth rose imperceptibly. Isn't it a violent thing for such a good talent not to be paid to his subordinates? As for monsters with twisted minds, so what? Isn't it blacken? As the saying goes, whitewash and die fast, blacken 10,000 years. Kurama Yakumo's ability is able to dominate people's five senses, making others a terrifying illusion like a puppet of her thread. And it can also create a world of illusion, and everything that happens in the world of illusion, as long as she wants, can be real, such as damage or repair caused to things or the human body. The scene drawn on her canvas can become a reality if she wants to. This ability is very similar to the legendary fantasy realization. So, I'm going to order this pommel horse Yakumo. Naruto made up his mind, and that night, Naruto came to Satomioka Mountain Villa. And easily defeated an Anbu and two medical ninjas who were guarding here. Patter, patter. Satomigauka Villa is very large, but Kurama Yakumo is the only one who lives here, which looks a bit empty and terrifying. Walking in the quiet corridor, you can clearly hear the echo of your own footsteps. What's interesting is that it is so late that Kurama Yakumo has not rested in the bedroom, but is painting in her studio. Crunch. Naruto pushed open the door of Kurama Yakumo's studio, and saw a thin girl with her back facing him painting on the canvas. There were rows of already painted oil paintings in the room. Without turning on the lights, only cold moonlight spilled in through the windows, sprinkled on the dark and twisted oil paintings, adding a ghastly atmosphere to the entire studio. But this did not scare Naruto, and a kind smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Didn't you always want to be a ninja? Come with me, I can make you a powerful ninja. Hearing this, Kurama Yakumo paused the paintbrush in his hand, turned sideways and turned his head to look at Naruto, and asked blankly. You seem to be just a Konoha shinobi who is as old as I am. Why should I believe you? Only then did Naruto see Kurama Yakumo's face. Under the moonlight, the other party's face was pale because of weak physique, and now it looked even paler, like a ghost. Naruto also saw clearly the oil painting the other party had just painted. It is the scene where he and Kurama Yakumo are talking now, except that his head and body have been separated in the painting. Hehe, do you want to kill me this way? Naruto asked Kurama Yakumo with a grin, not worrying about his situation at all. Kurama Yakumo gave Naruto a gloomy look, then turned around again, and suddenly erased Naruto's feet in the painting with white paint. Naruto looked down and found that his feet were missing, but his body couldn't move, even chakra couldn't move. Obviously, Naruto has entered the illusion world of Kurama Yakumo. Naruto still didn't care about it, but continued to smile at each other and said, Actually, a monster has already appeared in your heart, and he is controlling you, killing your parents. Monsters, come out, let's meet directly. When Kurama Yakumo heard this, she was shocked. Due to the brain's self-protection mechanism, she didn't know that the monster controlled herself and killed her parents. Now, a lot of memories seemed to spring up suddenly. She understood everything, pain and regret in her heart, tears could not stop flowing down. She wanted to stop herself, to get rid of the monster's control. Just as she was about to pierce the sharp oil painting knife into her throat, suddenly a pale thin hand gripped her wrist. Kurama Yakumo looked at the other person, only to see her self-portrait appeared before him, and stretched out this thin hand from it. Suddenly seeing such a strange scene, her pupils couldn't help but shrink. Immediately afterwards, she walked out of the canvas completely, and saw that her figure and clothes were exactly the same as those of Pommel Horse Yakumo, only that face, which looked like a demon, had two horns at the first, was obviously the monster in her heart. As soon as the monster appeared, he easily controlled Kurama Yakumo. It used to live deep in Kurama Yakumo's heart, but now after Naruto's reminder, Kurama Yakumo can come out when he thinks of it. At this moment, the monster was looking at Naruto with a terrifying demon face and asked, "What do you want me to do? Do you want me to kill you?" "Well, it's nothing, I just want to invite you to be my subordinate," Naruto said with a grinning look at the monster. "HMPH, do you have this strength?" The monster looked at him and snorted disdainfully. "Well, it's nothing, I just want to invite you to be my subordinate," Naruto said with a grinning look at the monster. "HMPH, do you have this strength?" The monster looked at him and snorted disdainfully. Naruto frowned and looked at the ugly monster provocatively. It seems it's time to show off his true skills. Naruto had just finished speaking, but unexpectedly the ugly monster moved his hand first. It stretched out its hand and pinched Naruto's neck fiercely. At the same time, a piece of boiling magma suddenly appeared next to it, and the heat wave hit people, as if it were real. "Humph, sassy guy." The ugly monster looked at Naruto with disdain, and was about to throw Naruto into the lava. Although this is an illusion world, if he really falls into this magma, I am afraid that his body in the real world will be directly burned to death. This is Kurama Yakumo, or the terrifying illusion ability of this spiritual monster. If it were other ninjas, or even Yurihong who was good at illusion, I'm afraid he would be killed immediately. But unfortunately, it met Naruto. "Ha, that's it." At this moment, Naruto suddenly sneered. The ugly monster looked at Naruto in shock, but found that he could no longer move Naruto anymore, as if Naruto was stuck in place. Naruto continued to sneer at the ugly monster and said, "Have you seen Sharingan? Have you seen Mangekyo Sharingan? I will let you know more today." After speaking, his eyes suddenly turned into blood-red 8-pointed stars, flashing an unknown sense of monster. Boom! The illusion of the ugly monster was bounced back by Mangekyo Sharingan, and Naruto flashed before his eyes and found that he was still standing in the studio, where there was some magma. Moreover, the ugly monster was nowhere to be seen, only Kurama Yakumo stood in front of him with an evil expression, shocked in his eyes. Obviously, the ugly mind monster has taken control of Kurama Yakumo, and even completely replaced Kurama Yakumo's original mind. It can also be said that Kurama Yakumo blackened. What kind of eye is this? Even my illusion can be broken. Blackens, Kurama Yakumo said unbelievably. You know, her strength after blacken is completely liberated. Not only has the power of illusion increased sharply, but also has the ability to approximate fantasy realization. But this was easily deciphered by Naruto's eyes. Snapped. At this moment, Naruto stretched out his right hand, leaned forward, and pinched the neck of the opposite pommel Yakumo. The 8-pointed star Sharingan turned slowly, exuding an unknown aura, and looked at each other coldly. Blacken's pommel horse Yakumo wanted to resist with illusion, but found that all was useless, she couldn't even resist. In an instant, Naruto reversed the situation and took control of the scene. Like a chicken, Kurama Yakumo was lifted off the ground by the neck. The evil expression on his face turned into horror, and he wanted to stab Naruto with the oil painting knife in his right hand, but was knocked out by a palm. Her face gradually turned red from suffocation, her legs kicked wildly, doing the final struggle. I do. Kurama Yakumo exhausted all his strength to squeeze out such a few words. Now there is something evil on her face, all of which are pleading and painful. Boom! Naruto didn't put her down mercilessly, but threw her to the ground fiercely, fainting directly. The current Kurama Yakumo is no longer the weak girl before, but the evil-minded guy who is occupied by the spiritual monster. For such a person, there is no need for mercy, but complete control. Looking at the unconscious Kurama Yakumo, Naruto nodded his hands, and then patted Kurama Yakumo's forehead. A mysterious shaped charm appeared on the opponent's forehead, and then disappeared. Caged seal, caged bird. That's right, it was the curse mark, caged bird, that Naruto exchanged from the system to help Neji. He made a little change. Although Kurama Yakumo does not have Byakugan, he can immediately blind him if he wants to. Although it will not directly end the life of Kurama Yakumo, if it is launched in battle, it is completely fatal. In addition, in order not to let Kurama Yakumo find out, he concealed the unique appearance of Curse Mark, Caged Bird. However, Naruto is still worried about this. After thinking about it, he exchanged another curse seal from the system, Important Curse Seal. It is the curse that Uchiha Madara put on the hearts of Rin Nohara and Obito back then, which can control each other to a certain extent. Fortunately, he and the female avatar have accumulated a lot of points through the continuous killing of ninjas, which can allow him to successfully redeem this curse seal and upgrade to the level of proficient. 1 minute later, when Kurama Yakumo was kicked and awakened by Naruto, she subconsciously wanted to use illusions on Naruto, but she immediately persuaded her. "Come with me." Naruto gave her a cold look, then grabbed her shoulders and disappeared instantly. Since its establishment, Schwerin Village has received strong support from Fengwashwehui, the new name of the Snow Country. Following the scene where the Naruto team helped Fengwashwehui regain the right to the right, after the director was completely filmed into a movie, more and more tourists began to travel to the country of snow. Especially after the Snow Country has completely turned into a spring green grass under the action of the geothermal generator, it has gradually become a tourist attraction. As a result, the fiscal revenue of the Snow Country has been vigorously developed, and the construction of Schwerin Village has begun at a faster speed. Moreover, the village of Schwerin Village encloses the entire geothermal generator in it to better protect it. Up to now, Schwerin Village is a female avatar with 3 ninjas, Neji, Shongren, and Mizumi Shiro. However, in order to conceal his identity, Neji always wears a mask and sunglasses, even Gentle Fist basically does not use it. According to Naruto, it will take 3 years to fully let go, and no one is afraid. In addition, Schwerin Village has also collected 100 orphans for training as seeds for the future. Perhaps these people will not be used in the future, but it is always good to be prepared. Moreover, I always have to look like Fengwashwehui. Neji is responsible for teaching these children physical skills and basic ninja knowledge. The education model and knowledge are almost all moved from Konoha and adapted slightly. They pay more attention to practicality and can finish their studies in 3 years. And Shongrin has been learning the medical ninjutsu scroll that Naruto gave her during this period, and he has made rapid progress. Next, she is about to learn the scroll of escape, and she can't waste the huge chakra she has as a Uzumaki clan. Naruto hid her breath and didn't let her discover it. Otherwise, every time the other party saw Naruto, they would always look like a slut, which made Naruto a headache. Especially now it's night. Regarding the relationship between herself and her, Naruto hasn't fully thought about it yet. Only the water has no moon white, and those who have nothing to do all day paddling, still look like nothing to love, and those who don't sleep at night, sit on the roof and count the stars. Seeing this, Naruto knocked him fainted and placed a containment curse on his heart, asking him to teach students the next day. Kurama Yakumo suddenly moved here from Konoha village, still a little uncomfortable and shocked, and there was more awe in Naruto's eyes when he looked at the side. Immediately, she laughed happily again, and being able to escape from Konoha's prison-like place gave her the feeling of diving into the sea. "Is this Kurama Yakumo?" The female avatar walked over and asked. "Well, after Blacken." Naruto nodded. "That's not bad, the strength should be very strong." The female avatar looked up and down the pommel horse Yakumo, suddenly her face moved, and then she returned to normal. "Dare to use illusions on me?" "Humph." She pointed at Kurama Yakumo, and a black gold rope suddenly appeared, wrapped around the opponent, and then threw it directly into the air. "What?" Kurama Yakumo was in the air and screamed. Although she was already blackened, she was actually a little girl, not the kind of old monster that had lived for thousands of years. Shui Wuyubai on the roof in the distance heard the sound, and when he looked from here, his face changed involuntarily, as if he had thought of something bad. After being taught by the female avatar, Kurama Yakumo no longer dared to use illusions on her at will. Then, there was a private discussion between Naruto and the female avatar about the next 3 years of plans. Schwerin Village, in the village chief's office. The female avatar and Naruto sat opposite each other. "Recently, has Ju or that Alfie found you?" Naruto asked first. "No, but I once felt someone peeping into Schwerin Village, but I always hide my breath and rarely show up." The female avatar replied calmly. That's good, but if they really find out, don't worry too much. Naruto smiled and said, for the next 3 years, they will be dormant to accumulate strength, but why not we? Besides, I recently discovered a hidden ability of the system, which will be of great help to us. Having said that, Naruto triumphantly pointed his right index finger on the female avatar's forehead, only to see a golden light appearing from the finger, and then submerged into the other person's body. Ah, this! The female avatar exclaimed. She only felt that a strange power was born in her body at this moment, which wrapped her whole body, and soon disappeared again. Now, you have Sage Body of the Senju clan. Naruto said triumphantly to the female avatar. This is a hidden ability of the system that he discovered, that is to say, the various skills and bloodlines in the system can not only be exchanged for himself but also for others. In other words, he can abruptly promote an ordinary ninja to a strong one. This is the power comparable to gods. It is also the singularity of the system. Unfortunately, the system points are running out. I have to redeem Shanwa Body for myself. Otherwise, I can redeem Wood-style blood succession boundary directly for you. Naruto continued to say to the female avatar with some regrets. However, we still have nearly 3 years to prepare. During this period, we both have to kill as many ninjas as possible and accumulate system points. Yeah, the female avatar nodded and said. With this Sage Body of the Senju clan, my strength will increase a lot, and I can quickly spot the enemy and avoid surveillance. Yes, you now have explosion-style blood legacy limits and 2 Sage Body, Kusana Flying Sword, Immortal Rope, Raichi Cave Snake Ninjutsu, and your strength has reached cage level. At least much better than Deidara. Naruto looked at the female avatar with satisfaction, but he made it with one hand, and it was also his stronghold card. When the points are enough, in addition to you will have Wood style, everyone else, including Hinata, will also help them become stronger. Speaking of this, Naruto's face gradually became serious. In this way, we can have the strength to fight against the pervert group of Akatsuki. After simply dealing with the matters in Yukonin village, Naruto returned to his home in Konoha village and continued to sleep. The next morning, Tsunade and Yurihong realized that Kurama Yakumo had disappeared, and then there was another flying search. But these have nothing to do with Naruto. He kept working hard until 10 days later. With the ninjutsu talent given to him by Sage Body of Senju clan, he finally achieved all the fire style, lightning style, water style, and earth style ninjutsu masters in the escape scroll to the proficient level. Now, Sage Body of the Senju clan is not so useful to him. He can finally exchange the long-awaited Sage Body. Before, the system told him that the Uzumaki clan Sage Body and Senju clan Sage Body of the God level bloodline level can synthesize 2 physiques, but he can only choose one. One is full Sage Body combined with your own Ashura chakra. You can get Wood-style blood succession boundary. The second is Spelling Body. The body can automatically absorb natural energy and permanently transform chakra in the body into chakra, which can be used forever without any side effects. At that time, he made a choice, Shanwa Body, embarking on an unusual path of being strong. Now, this moment has finally arrived. System, exchange Shanwa Body and upgrade to level 4, God level bloodline level in one breath. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the God level bloodline Spelling Body with a unique Shanshu. Please explore it on your own. As soon as the system notification sound ended, Naruto felt that his body had undergone earth-shaking changes. The whole body is warm, the whole person is different from before. He only felt that a strange energy from the outside world was being absorbed into his body, and then combined with his chakra a little bit. A new energy, pure and powerful, gradually replaced a little of the original chakra. The energy absorbed from the outside world should be natural energy, and the new generation in my body should be chakra. Naruto's heart was agitated, and his lips trembled slightly. Although I've seen the introduction about Shanwa Body before, Naruto couldn't help reading it again at this time. Shanwa Body incidental skills are 1. Shanshu amplification. Ninjutsu becomes Shanju, and its power increases several times. 2. Physical enhancement. Physical strength, speed, mental power and reaction power will all be improved, and as time goes by, it will be improved more and more, which can be grown. 3. Natural perception. Far away, you can perceive any danger and life activities within a radius of several kilometers. Near, you can perceive every subtle movement of the enemy in front of you. 4. Natural healing. Shanshu chakra automatically comes with powerful healing ability. 5. Unique Shanshu need to explore by yourself, similar to the unique Shanshu ability of each of the 3 holy places. These skills are much stronger than the original sage body incidental skills. The most important thing is that they can grow. As the original book says, the more you use chakra, the more tired you get. That's because chakra is asking for itself. As for Shanshu, the more you use it, the more energetic you are, because it collects energy from the outside world to make up for and strengthen yourself. This is a jump in the essence of energy. When I replace all the ordinary chakra in my body with Shanshu chakra, will I be able to become a real fairy? Naruto couldn't help his thoughts drifting away. Not to mention the strength, should be able to live longer like Toad Sage and the White Snake. Thinking of this, he couldn't wait to absorb natural energy quickly, and turned all chakra in his body into chakra in one breath. But after 10 minutes, he found that it was impossible. Because the natural energy inhaled by him is very, very scarce. Naruto concluded that there are probably 2 reasons for this. One is that he has not been able to absorb the natural energy correctly, and the other is that there is too little natural energy from the outside world. I'm afraid that only the natural energy of the 3 major summoning holy sites will be richer. Naruto thought that only the 3 holy sites of summoning possessed immortality, so he couldn't help but think of this. As for whether they have an efficient way to absorb natural energy, it is unknown. In any case, it seems that Naruto needs to follow Jiraiya to Mount Myoboku. After all, Mount Myoboku is definitely welcome and will take the initiative to help him practice immortality. As for Raichi Cave, the White Snake Immortals are not easy to get along with and have to go through tests or something. There is also the Wet Bone Forest, who knows what will happen. It is better to choose Mount Myoboku, which is friendly to him. Anyway, he didn't really want to practice the magic of Mount Myoboku like the original, but to absorb the natural energy there. Thinking of this, Naruto is even more looking forward to Jiraiya's return. After another 10 days, Naruto, who was practicing in the training ground, stopped. He turned and looked back. The corners of his mouth couldn't stop rising. Because the person he had been waiting for finally came back. Yoshi, Naruto, starting from today, let's formally practice with me. Jiraiya squatted on the wooden stakes in the training ground and greeted Naruto with a grin. Konoha village, a happy ramen. Naruto was holding a bowl of fragrant ramen, eating refreshingly. Iruka, who was sitting next to him, looked at Naruto with love and joy in his eyes. Naruto, you are now a ninja on your own. Next, you have to practice with Master Jiraiya, and you will definitely become stronger. Iruka said, her voice soft, you are closer to your dream of becoming a Hokage. Haha, Naruto took a bite of ramen and said with a smile, before you become Hokage, you must first protect the people you cherish. Yes, you were right, Naruto. Iruka nodded appreciatively. If you want to become a Hokage, you must first get the recognition of others and protect the people you cherish. Naruto was noncommittal about Iruka's words. He understood that Iruka was deeply poisoned by the will of fire, and he did not argue with him. He just needs to know that the people he cherishes include Iruka. Teacher Iruka, take care. Naruto smiled and drank the last sip of soup, wiped his mouth, and patted Iruka on the shoulder. I'm leaving. Oh, by the way, and Uncle Yeel, I will try your ramen later. Seeing a flying thunder god mark on Iruka's shoulder, Naruto waved his hand to Uncle Yeel, who always closed his eyes and disappeared. Saying goodbye to Iruka and Uncle Yeel, Naruto went to the door of Hyuga Hiyashi's house again, went in and found Hinata, who was practicing inside. Hinata, next I will follow Jiraiya to practice outside. Do you miss me? Naruto stepped forward, saw Hinata stop, and said, holding her little hand. Hinata looked left and right in a panic and found that his father was not there. This allowed Naruto to hold his hand as usual. Although I'm used to it, I still lower my head with a blushing face, and my voice is like a mosquito. You must pay attention to safety. I'm asking you, would you miss me? Naruto looked at Hinata and asked again, while tilting her lowered chin with her right hand, staring at her eyes. Yes, I will. Hinata's eyes dodged and his body trembled a little. Idiot, did you forget that I can flying thunder god? I can come back to visit you at any time. Naruto put his face close to Hinata's little face and said with a smile in her ear. Feeling Naruto's warm breath coming from her ears and Naruto's body leaning against her, Hinata finally couldn't hold on, and fainted with a puff. Hinata, I haven't started yet. Naruto hugged Hinata dumbfoundedly, put her in the room, and then shook her head helplessly and walked away. 5 minutes later, Hinata woke up and saw his father standing outside the door, hurriedly got up to salute. Seeing her father's serious face, she was a little embarrassed, not knowing what she had done wrong. Hinata, don't associate with Naruto anymore. I'm afraid you don't know. He has a special status, so I'll make it clear. You won't be able to marry him in the future. Hyuga Hiyashi looked at Hinata sternly and said, referring to the identity of Naruto Jinchuriki. Jinchuriki in each village is an extremely sensitive person, and it's okay to make friends, but if you marry, you really have to be cautious. The most important thing is that the Hyuga clan is accustomed to protecting themselves and don't want to cause trouble. Father, Hinata looked at his father in shock, with a pitiful look in his eyes, and tears came down. At this time, Naruto didn't know about Hinata. He had packed his bags and walked out of Konoha's gate with Jiraiya. Ms. Jiraiya, where is our first stop? Naruto looked at Jiraiya and asked. Go forward, wherever we go, we will practice while walking. Jiraiya said indifferently. I knew it was like this. The first stop must be a certain place, right? Naruto held his forehead helplessly, and looked at Jiraiya contemptuously. Well, you need to practice, and I also need it. My new season of Intimate Paradise is very popular, and I need to collect writing materials immediately. Jiraiya looked embarrassed, and said righteously. Oh, Mr. Jiraiya, do you think we are about the same level of combat power, and there is nothing to teach me? Naruto said triumphantly, but his eyes flickered insignificantly. What, kid, I'm called Fairy Jiraiya. Jiraiya said, posing in a funny appearance, watching Naruto snort. You are far from reaching my level. Naruto heard the words, blinked, and asked curiously. Hey, don't think that you are old and your hair is a fairy. I can find an old man who looks like a fairy than you. When Jiraiya heard this, his face suddenly appeared angry. Little devil, I am a real fairy, because I know Shanshu. Shanshu, you're not fooling me. You have the ability to teach me. Naruto looked at Jiraiya with a look of disdain in his eyes. You kid. Jiraiya had a playful look in his eyes, bit his finger, and summoned the old toad from Mount Myoboku. Then one toad came to the side and muttered for a long time before saying to Naruto. Naruto, do you want to learn immortality? Then you have to be mentally prepared. Learning immortality requires a lot of perseverance, and you have to risk your life. Naruto continued to show curiosity. Is there really immortality? Then I have to learn to see it. I have perseverance, and I am not afraid of danger. Seeing Naruto's resoluteness, Jiraiya turned to look at the deep old toad on his shoulder. Shenzuo Lao Toad nodded, disappeared with a bang, returned to Mount Myoboku, and Naruto disappeared with a bang. It turned out that Shenzuo Lao Toad used the reverse summoning technique to summoning Naruto to Mount Myoboku. Seeing Naruto leave, Jiraiya exhaled deeply and muttered. I believe that Naruto, as the son of prophecy, should be able to learn immortality, and then there is no need to be afraid of Akatsuki. After muttering, Jiraiya's face changed, and a silver expression gradually emerged, and he laughed loudly. Next, it is estimated that I will be able to collect writing materials for a long time. Miss Sisters, wait for me. Mount Myoboku should be in a place similar to a secret realm. The sky and white clouds here are all colored, and the plants have been magnified dozens of times, each standing like a tall building. Naruto looked around enthusiastically, only to feel that the surroundings were full of natural energy, crowding her body crazily. He originally thought that after Shenzuo Lao Toad brought him to Mount Myoboku, he would start practicing immortality immediately, but he did not expect that the first thing was eating. After seeing Naruto's arrival, old Toad Zima was very happy to make a hearty lunch, which was all meat dishes. A bunch of different kinds of insect feast, you can't even see the root vegetables. Old Iron, Ollie, although he was mentally prepared, Naruto was moved to tears. But, it's time to show real technology. Immediately, His eyes flashed, and he took out a juicer that had been prepared long ago from his backpack. Then squeeze all the colorful insects into the soup and taste it yourself. Hey, the taste is not bad. It's much better than the high-protein powders I've drunk before. Hey, old man, stop eating, haven't you noticed? Naruto can practice immortality while active. Old Toad Zima patted the deep work he was immersed in eating, and whispered in a low voice. Shenzuo was interrupted to eat, and said impatiently, "What are you talking nonsense? I haven't started teaching him to practice immortality." While muttering, he finished the last stir-fried worm in the bowl, then raised his head and looked at Naruto, who was drinking the high-protein juice. Immediately, his face changed, and he said in disbelief, "Why is his body automatically absorbing natural energy? I haven't even started teaching him to practice immortality." When Jima heard this, his face was shocked, and he muttered inconceivably, how is this possible?" Boom! Shenzuo Lao Toad put down the bowl heavily and ran out in a hurry. "Why are you going, old man?" Jima asked from behind. "Go meet Toad Sage," Shenzuo said without looking back, and soon disappeared. Seeing this, Shima glanced at Naruto deeply, and then chased him. At the dinner table, Naruto drank the high-protein juice, and the corners of his mouth rose. Inside Toad Sage's cave, Toad Sage, who is large but aging, is sleeping peacefully. But when Shenzuo and Jima jumped in, he immediately opened his eyes, and his old voice was full of helplessness. "I know what you came from. I also felt about Naruto just now. I don't know what's going on in this situation." "What?" Shenzuo frowned. Could this be the special nature of the Son of Prophecy? Toad Sage shook his head when he heard the words. It's hard to say, because even the Sage of Six Paths back then did not happen like this. "Sage of Six Paths," Shen said in a low voice. Although he has been alive for a long time, Sage of Six Paths is also a legendary character to him. Sage of Six Paths only learns immortality according to the conventional practice method, but his master is extremely fast. Toad Sage recalled a moment and continued. "Maybe Naruto's physique is rather special. Alas, I have often had nightmares since a few months ago, all about the son of this prophecy." When Shenzuo and Jima heard this, they both fell silent. "Continue to observe Naruto." Toad Sage said one last word and fell asleep again. 15 minutes later, Naruto was finally full, and the two old toads, Shensaku and Shima, also returned. Shenzuo looked at Naruto and beckoned to him. "Naruto, come with me, I will teach you fairy skills now." Soon, one person and one toad stood among a huge circle of toadstone statues, next to a small waterfall and pool with toad oil flowing. Ninjutsu is to form chakra by extracting one's own cell energy and spiritual energy, and use it. Shanju is chakra that is cultivated by oneself, plus natural energy absorbed from the outside to form a new Shanshu chakra, use it again. Shenzuo Old Toad looked at Naruto in front of him and said seriously. In this way, physique, illusion, and ninjutsu can all be greatly improved. Natural energy is a kind of energy that exists in the outside nature. Deep as the old toad, Naruto nodded, and finally said, "I'll show you a demonstration." After speaking, Shenzuo Lao Toad jumped in front of a huge stone statue of Toad beside him, and with his palms hard, he rumblingly moved the stone statue that was 30 meters high. Then put down the stone statue, turned around, and said to Naruto out of breath, "Naruto, you can try it." Me. Naruto was slightly surprised, then nodded and walked to the stone statue. In just half an hour after he came to Mount Myoboku, half of the chakra in his body had been combined with natural energy into chakra. But strangely, the orange eyeshadow characteristic of sage transformation did not appear on his eyes. It may also be related to the Shenhua body he has. At this time, he put his hands under the stone statue, mobilized the fairy technique chakra in his body, and lifted it up like a deep toad. Boom! The huge stone statue was overturned directly by him. This! Shenzuo Lao Toad's jaw is about to fall off. After a while, he took a deep breath and asked Naruto tentatively, "Naruto, do you already feel natural energy in your body?" "Yes." Naruto looked at him with a smile, nodded and said, "Since I came here, I have felt that my body is not normal. After you said that, I realized that I actually practiced Shanshu. And there is already half of the Shanshu chakra in my body. It seems that I also practice Shanshu. It's not that difficult. When Shenzuo Lao Toad heard him say this, the corners of his mouth twitched. He wanted to ask Naruto, isn't it difficult to practice immortality? Who told you that? Looking at so many frog stone statues around, you can know how many ancestors died in the practice of immortality. Because these toad stone statues are made by losers. However, for the Naruto in front of him, Shenzuo Lao Toad is really helpless. You can only follow Toad Sage's words. Let's continue to observe. Naruto, since you have already practiced immortality, then next, I will teach you 2 ways to use immortality, frog group hand and frog button. After the deep toad was finished, he explained and demonstrated Naruto again. Of course Naruto has heard of frogs and frogs. Frog hand can gather the surrounding natural energy near the palm of the hand, making the attack range of the hand larger. The natural energy around the surgeon is also used as a part of his body to attack. Even if he does not touch the opponent, he can effectively hit the opponent directly. For example, in an attack, the boxing is flashed by the opponent. If the opponent just flashes the fist itself, it will be hit by the natural energy near the fist. In the original book, Naruto defeated the hungry Kido Pain with a single blow. Frog buckle extract natural energy and concentrate it in the palm of the hand, and apply a shock attack with a powerful force. In fact, it is similar to hitting an ox from a mountain. It can penetrate the enemy's surface defenses and injure the enemy's interior. Both of these are powerful physical attacks, and Naruto is naturally very attentive when practicing. In addition, Jiraiya's Sage Art Mao Needle Senbon is also in Naruto's training plan. However, any ninjutsu released by chakra will greatly increase its power, not just such a ninjutsu. For example, wind-style ninjutsu, if it is released with Shanju chakra, what will it look like to the greatest extent? Will it be like a typhoon, sweeping several kilometers or even dozens of kilometers? Thinking of the shocking scene of using Shanju chakra to release wind-style ninjutsu, Naruto's mouth couldn't help but rise. Oh, yes, there are big ball Rasengan, wind-style spiral shuriken, etc. Why not practice master together in Mount Myoboku? Naruto thought about this, and suddenly found another problem. There is a prerequisite for this, that is, the amount of chakra in the body is sufficient. Without the 2 sage body, Naruto's current chakra volume is the same as in the original book. Is it too much? Of course there are many, but the large-scale, typhoon, ninjutsu, I am afraid, cannot be used continuously. After possessing Sage Mode, Naruto doesn't need to practice Mount Myoboku's Sage Mode at all. Because he can absorb natural energy by himself and form chakra in his body. It can also be said that Naruto's Sage Mode is unique, and it is permanently on, because there is always chakra flowing in his body. There is no 5-minute time limit like Mount Myoboku Sage Mode, and no horns on the head like Ryachi Cave Sage Mode. However, physical skills such as Frog Hand and Frog Button still need to be learned. This is because this is an application of natural energy, not the Sage Mode of Mount Myoboku. For example, Konoha Fluid Art can be used by other ninjas in Ninja Village as long as they learn it. It does not mean that only Konoha Shinobi can use it. I can call myself Fairy now, too. Naruto thought triumphantly. Soon, 10 days later, Naruto finally mastered Frog Group Hand and Frog Buckle and successfully used Shanju Chakra to urge wind-style ninjutsu. That day, most of the plants in Mount Myoboku were uprooted by the wind, flying sand and rocks, and a mess. Even Toad Sage, who was sleeping, was awakened. If it weren't for Shenzuo Lao Toad to stop in time, I am afraid that the entire Mount Myoboku would be destroyed. Later, a few old toads got together and after a discussion, they said to Naruto, "You go, we really have nothing to teach you, and we dare not let you stay." Originally, Naruto also wanted to learn the sound illusion of the 2 old toads, Shensaku and Shima. Magic Toad was singing, but was ruthlessly told that only the real toad that can scream can master this ninjutsu. Ruthless, Naruto thought for a while. In his current situation, although the body is full of chakra, but the number is still not enough. Especially after losing 2 sage body, this huge reduction in chakra volume made him feel a sense of disappointment. He desperately wants to regain the chakra comparable to the tail beast, and then combine the natural energy to become the celestial chakra. Think about it, if he possesses the chakra, which is comparable to a tail beast, he will become a real French emperor and a nuclear fortress-like existence. That kind of scene is simply not too beautiful. Naruto calculated it in his mind. There are two ways to increase chakra that can be thought of at present. The first method is to borrow Nine Tails chakra and turn on the Nine Tails chakra mode just like the original. But this is a borrowed chakra after all, not one's own. Whether Nine Tails chakra can be combined with natural energy is a question. The second method is to use samahata to devour chakra from others, like Kisame, to become your own chakra, and then combine natural energy to increase your own chakra. Even in that ancient Lulan country, there is also the huge chakra in Dragon Vessel which should be swallowed by samahata. The more Naruto thought about it, the more excited he became. He couldn't wait to find Kisame, and left Mount Myoboku without hesitation. In this way, Naruto only stayed in Mount Myoboku for 10 days before being driven away, leaving only a mess. Boom! The white mist dissipated. Master, come and play. After Naruto came out of Mount Myoboku, he appeared directly beside Jiraiya. Seeing how comfortable Jiraiya was in front of him, and listening to the turbulent sounds around him, Naruto's face turned dark. This LSP, I am afraid that he has gone crazy during the 10 days he was absent. Then it will make you cooler. A smirk appeared at the corner of Naruto's mouth, a whirlwind condensed in his hand, and he threw it upward. Hoop! The roof of the entire place was lifted, and the sun shot into this dark corner for the first time. Facing the risk of being exposed to the sun, all the ladies and sisters wore their clothes in exclamation. Jiraiya also lifted his pants and ran away quickly. Naruto followed behind with a smirk. Hey, Naruto, why did you come back so soon? Sage Mode learned it. Wouldn't it be here to make trouble for me? Jiraiya said to Naruto angrily. Because I have mastered Sage Mode. As Naruto condensed a group of Sage Art Big Ball Rasengan, Jiraiya was directly frightened. You, what are you special, pervert? Jiraiya looked at the oversized Rasengan in Naruto's hand, felt the horrible breath in it, twitched the corners of his mouth, and continued to say in shock. Is Mount Myoboku's Sage Mode so easy to learn? You know, I am not a master yet. Having said this, Jiraiya suddenly looked startled, and pointed to Naruto in an unbelievable way. Why don't you have special eyeshadow? Didn't you cultivate Sage Mode? But the huge natural energy contained in your Rasengan is clearly visible. Ha! Naruto smiled triumphantly. Because I am a genius, my body can automatically absorb natural energy. Jiraiya really couldn't believe this kind of thing. He hesitated, ran to the side and slammed the deep old toad summoning out. One person, one toad, he muttered again. Naruto watched Jiraiya walk away. He was not idle, and began to feel the natural energy of the outside world. The natural energy concentration of the outside world is naturally not as good as Mount Myoboku's summoning sacred place. It is estimated that after he consumes the chakra in his body, it will take a longer time to replenish it. Hey, you can try the star and meteorite I got before, why did I forget this thing? Naruto slapped his head, and suddenly remembered this, and quickly took out a scroll and took out the star and meteorite that was sealed inside. The moment he took this stone in his hand, he discovered the special radiation emitted by the stone, which gradually activated his body and could absorb natural energy from the outside world at a faster rate. As for the damage to the body caused by this kind of radiation, it was completely repaired in time by chakra. It really is a baby. Naruto was excited and hurriedly hid it in his chest. In this way, he doesn't have to worry too much about not being able to replenish natural energy in time when he is making waves in the outside world. After a long time, Jiraiya walked back with a complicated face, looking at Naruto with joy and helplessness in his eyes. The apprentice is too strong, his master is very stressful. Naruto, according to your current strength, I am afraid it is almost the same as mine. Jiraiya finished the sentence without complaint, and then changed his tone. Of course, you still lack enough actual combat experience. Next, I will find some wandering ninjas for you to increase your actual combat experience. Okay. When Naruto heard this, his expression was a little excited. He originally planned to increase system points by killing people, but Jiraiya mentioned this first. However, what he will do next is not only to kill, but also to seize Samahata from Kisame. So, Naruto's eyes flashed, and he continued to say to Jiraiya. Why don't we go directly to the members of the Akatsuki organization? Their strength is so powerful, I'm afraid they will let me gain more experience. Jiraiya hesitated. The reason he brought Naruto out to practice was to enhance Naruto's strength so that he could resist Akatsuki's attempts to Jinchuriki in Nine Tails 3 years later. How can you get on the pole right now? However, Naruto's current strength is beyond his imagination, and he has reached his expected goal so quickly. Seeing that Jiraiya hesitated, Naruto continued to persuade. The Akatsuki organization is very powerful, I am afraid there is more than one strong person in it. Rather than waiting for them to come in 3 years later, how about weakening them now? But Naruto still didn't make Jiraiya make up his mind. He shook his head and said, the strength of Akatsuki's organization is beyond your imagination. Every member of them has reached the cage level of the 5 great ninja villages. With that said, Jiraiya thought of Uchiha Itachi, and couldn't help but recall the black flame Uchiha Itachi used in the hotel at that time. A trace of fear flashed in his eyes. If you startle them now, you will probably be attacked early. To be on the safe side, let's wait until you increase your combat experience. Hearing what Jiraiya said, Naruto felt a little helpless. He knew Akatsuki better than Jiraiya. Moreover, there is a female avatar as a spy among them. However, he also admitted that what Jiraiya said was right. If he killed Kisame, Akatsuki could not remain indifferent. Although with his current strength, he is not afraid of Akatsuki at all, but he can always escape with Flying Thunder God. Unfortunately, there is no way to tell Jiraiya this, and it is impossible for Jiraiya to know his true strength. Oh, then first complete the task of accumulating points for killing people. Naruto sighed in his heart. When the points are enough, I will gather the body of the god of fire, the body of the god of thunder, the body of the earth god, the body of the water god, all. In this way, you can take the first step in achieving French Emperor and Nuclear Fortress for yourself. Moreover, we will continue to practice 8 inner gates and the Rasengan series of ninjutsu. After 3 years, when he reappeared with these strengths. Time flies, and years pass by. In the past 3 years, Naruto followed Jiraiya to almost half of the ninja world. Of course, except for the 5 great ninja village and another place Rain Shinobi village. Jiraiya knew that Rain Shinobi village seemed to be the base camp of Akatsuki, so he planned to save it for later infiltrating and exploring on his own. This is how he died in the original book, and I don't know what will happen this time. But what makes Naruto depressed is that he has never found the trace of Kisame and Uchiha Itachi, and even the information of other Akatsuki members has not been obtained. For this reason, it was not until the female avatar ran to Rain Shinobi village and sensed the existence of several members that she knew. Except for Kakuzu, who is killing people in order to accumulate bounty, and Sasori of Akasago, who is doing research, the other guys are hiding in Rain Shinobi village and don't know what they are doing. By the way, there are female avatars, who have been hiding outside Obito and Ju, and Deidara for more than 2 years. I don't know where Deidara learned of her information, but she has to compete with her, who also possesses the explosion-style blood legacy boundary. At this time, Naruto felt that facing Kisame alone, he should be able to defeat him, but if the other members of the Akatsuki organization were there, he could only escape. No way, he had to continue to wait for the opportunity. After Itachi and Kisame came out to act, he could snatch Samahata from Kisame. Because in the past 3 years, through continuous killings and accumulating points, Naruto has successfully exchanged and possessed the bodies of Vulcan, Thor, Earth God and Water God. These 5 forms of escape techniques and nature transformation are even more intimate. If they are urged by the fairy technique chakra, with all their strength, it is really a natural disaster. The rare test powers made Jiraiya feel terrified. Unfortunately, the amount of chakra Naruto's Shanju is still relatively insufficient. Once the Scourge ninjutsu comes down, the chakra in the body will basically be exhausted. Forced, he controlled Nine Tails through Mangekyo Sharingan, borrowed part of Nine Tails chakra, and then tried to absorb natural energy for fusion. As a result, it naturally failed. Nine Tails chakra is not combined with natural energy at all. And through the inquiry system, he can no longer exchange the 2 Sage Body, the system said when he chose Sage Body. This makes him a little frustrated, but his strength in other areas has also greatly increased. For example, after he got the Sage of Immortality, he also found out the unique sage art that he brought with him. The effect made him a little surprised. There is also Rasengan's advanced ninjutsu, which is so powerful that it surprises Jiraiya. Needless to say, the sage art wind style spiral shuriken, as well as the combination of fire style, lightning style, water style, earth style and Rasengan is also incredible. In general, Naruto's current strength is a proper cage-level powerhouse, at least much stronger than Jiraiya. The next thing to do is to continue to find Kisame, then take away his Samahata, and increase the amount of chakra in his body. Finally, after combining with natural energy, it further increases the amount of chakra in the body. In addition to the enhancement of Naruto's own strength, the strength of the female avatar has also undergone amazing changes. After she upgraded the Senju clan sage body to a god-level bloodline, she immediately synthesized the wood-style blood succession boundary. If you count her existing explosion-style blood succession boundary and immortal cord, Kusana sword, its strength is only slightly inferior to Senju Hashirama, and it is definitely the strong one in cage level. The immortal rope is an upgraded magical power. Although the sage body of the Uzumaki clan has disappeared, it can still be used. If you can learn immortality again, you will definitely surpass Senju Hashirama. I just don't know whether Obito and Pain understand the true strength of the female avatar. If they do, they will definitely drop their jaws. And she won't let the female avatar continue to wander in the ninja world. Konoha village, the sky is clear and bright. Konohamaru's genin has just graduated from the ninja school and is performing a boring D-class mission. The new Chunin exam is about to begin. As the representative of Sunagaku, Tamari also came to Konoha to communicate with Shikamaru, the person in charge of the exam. God has to bring them together, but Shikamaru still doesn't look motivated. While they were chatting, they suddenly realized that there was an exclamation around them, "Look at the sky." When Shikamaru heard the words, they looked up to the sky, their mouths gradually opened in surprise. In the blue sky, white clouds condensed above Konoha village, gradually being pieced together into the appearance of a man and a woman. The man is tall and strong, with 3 conspicuous beards on each side of his cheeks. The female is well behaved and pleasant, especially if she has big eyes but no pupils. The men and women pieced together by white clouds are holding hands and looking down at Konoha village, with a happy smile on their faces. And above them, suddenly there was a white cloud condensing a pattern of happiness that pierced through the heart. All the people who saw this scene were stunned. They couldn't think of what was going on in the heavens. More and more people in Konoha village walked out of the house, came to the street, on the roof, and looked up at the sky. What shocked them even more was yet to come. I saw a tall and handsome 15 or 16-year-old boy with long yellow hair and a red and white imperial robe, appearing in the sky under the clouds. Looking at the beards on both sides of his cheeks, it is clear that he is the young man made of clouds. People who are more familiar with this young man couldn't help exclaiming, "Naruto." At this time, a 7-colored cloud suddenly appeared under Naruto's feet, carrying him down from the sky and heading straight to Hyuga Hiyashi's home. Circle.operator. Oh, circle.operator, wow. The entire Konoha village erupted with exclamations, and some people had already guessed what Naruto was going to do. And in the practice field of Hyuga Hiyashi's house, Hinata was holding her heart in both hands, watching the colorful clouds on her feet. The sweetheart who fell from the sky greeted her. She felt that her whole heart would be melted. Naruto stepped on auspicious clouds under his feet, floating in the midair in front of Hinata, looked at her with a smile, and stretched out his right hand to her. "Long time no see, do you miss me?" Yeah. Hinata's face was a little shy, and he dared not look into Naruto's eyes. I believe she can remember this beautiful scene for a lifetime. "Miss me? Then follow me." Naruto grabbed Hinata's little hand, pulled her up to the colorful auspicious clouds, hugged her into her arms, stepped on the colorful clouds, and rushed into the 2 human-shaped clouds in the sky. In the next second, it disappeared. At this moment, all the girls in Konoha village were pregnant, and the boys lost sleep. Tsunade stood upstairs in Hokage, holding her forehead speechlessly. She didn't expect that the first thing Naruto came back was not to report to her, but to pick up girls. And also engaged in such a big battle. Jiraiya didn't know when she came to her side, and winked and asked her. "Tsunade, you said, if I invite you like this, would you follow me?" Ha, Tsunade gave him a disdainful look, and snorted coldly, you're thinking about farts. Naruto took Hinata directly to Snow Ninja Village. The scene here is completely different from before. A small but well-equipped village stands here. There are only 100 students in the village, Neji, Xianglin, Kurama Bayan, and Mizuno Yubai. There are also a group of scientists who study chakra armor. The female avatar started with Akatsuki's plan and teamed up with a fae to catch the tail beast. Neji's strength has reached the level of Jonin, and in a few months, the 3-year period with Naruto was about to come. During this time, he made great contributions to the establishment of Schwerin Village, including various construction and student training. However, Naruto believes that after the contract expires, the other party will not be willing to leave, because at that time he will come up with the temptation that the other party cannot refuse. Rin, after Naruto quietly used Bloodline upgrade scroll on her, she was given a god-level Bloodline level Uzumaki Sage body, her strength reached Jonin, and she also had good medical ninjutsu. More importantly, with her superb level of seal technique talent, the master used various seal techniques that Naruto deliberately exchanged from the system, including Flying Thunder God technique. Unfortunately, her nerve reaction speed is not as fast as 4th Hokage, otherwise it will inevitably become a cage-level strength. And Mizumi Shiro was forced by Naruto's charms and deterrence, and honestly worked as a ninja school teacher for more than 2 years. However, looking at his performance, it seems that he has fallen in love with the profession of a teacher and found new hope in life in these students. Naruto has always felt that the other party is so useless. It's a pity that Bing Dun's potential is still good. As for Kurama Yakumo, her strength has increased the most, and she already has the strength of the elite Jonin. If it is not for poor physical fitness, you can definitely reach the cage level. The main reason is that her 5-sense illusion is too powerful, and ninjas who don't understand her don't know how to die. And even if the ninjas who know her, such as Neji and Kain, if it weren't for the imprisonment spell at the heart of Kurama Yakumo, I'm afraid they would have been killed by each other many times. Similarly, Naruto really wants to redeem her sage body, so that she can have cage-level strength directly, but she is too unruly. Today, his purpose of coming here is to solve the problems of these guys and make them a powerful helper for him. So he called all 3 of them into the office. Rin was about to pounce at the first sight of Naruto, but was completely blocked by a wall of wind. Naruto-kun, long time no see. You look more handsome than before. Rin held his heart in both hands, and looked at the tall and sturdy Naruto wearing a royal robe with a spring face, with a slightly excited expression. For Naruto, she is not shy at all, on the contrary, she is very aggressive, completely opposite to Hinata's performance. Even now, she is standing next to Naruto regardless of Hinata. It's been a long time, Xianglin. Naruto nodded slightly to her, without waiting for Xianglin to say anything, suddenly turned his face straight and said in a serious tone. Next, I need your strength to fight a powerful enemy and subdue each tail beast. You, surrender or die. Naruto doesn't like wordy words and is not good at talking, so he asked straightforwardly. This is also his truth, if they don't want to, then just kill it. Wasn't it just for this day to rescue the 3 of them out of the predicament? As for Snow Ninja Village, it is just a place to temporarily house them and the source of chakra armor. He never thought of developing Snow Ninja Village into the 6th largest ninja village. Hearing Naruto's question, and the undisguised murderous tone in his tone, Kurama Yakumo and Mizumi Shiro shrank in their hearts, and their minds turned quickly. But Xianglin nodded wildly without hesitation and agreed. Naruto-kun, wherever you go next, I will go. Naruto looked at her a little bit dumbfounded. This idiot seems to have transferred the madness of Sasuke in the original book to herself. For the girl Rin, Naruto's heart is full of sympathy, but sympathy does not mean love. I already have Hinata, how can I promise her? Will this hurt Hinata? Forget it, don't think about it for the time being, I'm only 15 years old, and I have to deal with Shao organization next. Xianglin, next I will take you to a place where your strength will be improved again. Naruto looked at Xianglin and said that he had already arranged the future path for the other party, which was bound to be unique, which surprised people. Naruto-kun, should we go together? When asked about this, Rin finally glanced at Hinata next to Naruto, and subconsciously raised his chest. However, Hinata didn't seem to understand what she meant, and just smiled gently at her kindly. Perhaps in her opinion, whether it is Xianglin or Kurama Yakumo, they are all the companions and powers Naruto needs. She doesn't want to let Naruto lose these powers because of herself. You'll know then, Naruto said to Xianglin. Xianglin nodded and stopped talking. Although she was an idiot, she was also a smart girl. There was silence in the office. 10 minutes later, Shui Wuyubai first asked, after helping you achieve your goal, can I return to Schwerin village to continue teaching these children? Hehe, I was going to abandon Schwerin village. Naruto looked at the other person and said with a playful smile, but since you have such a request, I will keep Schwerin village and promise you. Shui Wuyubai nodded when she heard the words, then stopped talking. System, exchange to Bloodline upgrade scrolls. Naruto stepped forward and pointed his right index finger to the opponent's forehead, only to see a golden light flashing from the index finger and submerged into the opponent's body. This. Mizuki felt the abnormal changes in her body, and raised her head in surprise to look at Naruto. Go outside and experience it for yourself. Naruto ordered her. Bai temporarily suppressed the doubts in his heart, and quickly left the office. Naruto finally looked at Kurama Yakumo and asked calmly, so, what about you? Haha, do I have a choice? I don't want to die. Kurama Yakumo said coldly, and then smiled evilly at Naruto. I can't refuse the request of a handsome person like you. When Naruto heard the words, the corners of his mouth rose. He knew that the other party's mind was the most sinister after Blackening, and he might take a bite back at some point. But what about this? How many members of Akatsuki's organization are not like this? As long as she is like Pain and has the ability to suppress her absolutely, she will inevitably be obedient and use it for herself. Okay, I don't want to kill you myself in the future. Naruto stepped forward and also pointed her index finger on her smooth forehead. A golden light flashed again, submerged in her body. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.